Everybody will be starting in just a minute. Just finishing my coffee up. We have a ton to go over today, by the way. A ton. And we're doing 2 reviews today as well, so this is going to be a packed show. How's everybody doing today? I'm gonna kick this off here in just a second. I'm finishing the last couple bites of a bagel. I need it. Need food today. It says it's games time, but we're gonna wait one moment for these last couple bites. Hey, Kyle. I'm hoping by the end of this week, Kyle's wanting to know when the rest of Breachers will be coming out. So the Legacy editions will be coming out this week. I'm finishing up the one that person who won the auction. After the auction ones, then I'll start putting up the other ones. I have a couple orders to fulfill as well for stores. So I would say probably, I'm hoping by Friday, Saturday this week they'll go up. I'll do an announcement on my socials and then obviously in the Discord as well. There's gonna be two versions for the Legacy, I think. It's gonna be the grunge one that's got the duct tape spine, like dust jacket. It's gonna have, you know, the art and everything else, but it's gonna have like the tape around it to give it kind of the grunge vibe. The retro, and then there'll be the regular print as well. And then after that, it'll be going through a print company as well. I'm just waiting for versions of them back, but I wanted to make some Legacy ones. Dude, this new it's a new one from White Bat. That's a solid album. Makes you want to play Cyberpunk. Yeah, this guy just keeps cranking out new stuff, man. Him and Lazaretti, both really solid. Food's in me, coffee's here. Let's get this show on the road, shall we? Hey everybody, welcome to EFP Live. It's April 16th. There is a bunch of news, and on top of news, we got two reviews today. Man, I am exhausted today. I have not been sleeping worth a shit, so this is gonna be my saving grace all day. My pizza mug of wonderful Hawthorne coffee. How's everybody doing today? We all doing well? Let me know if you can hear this music on reverb or anything like that. You shouldn't, but you never know. OBS can be weird sometimes. I can always dial it in on my side a little bit and turn it up for you guys. Is that better? Oh, first sip of coffee. So good. So my office is a disaster right now. I shouldn't say that. It's not a disaster. I printed 18 copies of the new Breachers Volume 1. Got the ancient Gorgon doing its job. It's actually not that old. Ordered a bunch of new stuff. I'm doing some clear coating for the covers to make them UV and archival. And then... what else is new? Someone ordered the stapler after my birthday was over as well, so I'm going to be having the new stapler coming in. I'm going to be doing a mix of the retro staple gun ones of these. for the spine because it's just dope, along with a couple other ones. And then today we're going to be looking over Darkspace and I think it's, I don't want to mispronounce it, Darkspace and Aetherdark. Both sort of, one's real sci-fi, the other one's closer to a spelljammer. So we're going to be going over those today, doing review. Those are going to be recorded because I'm going to put those out separately. Super nice people. I got to see a lot of people play Darkspace at GaryCon, but I unfortunately didn't get in for it. I was really hoping I would, but it didn't happen. So instead, we're probably gonna see about bringing some people on for interviews soon. But yeah, let's I guess let's do the news segment here and get this recorded, right? Right? Everybody else doing good? Everyone got their coffee? Everyone chilling for the day? Anything special going on? Anyone got anything fun going on? I got my home game tonight. I'm excited about that. I'm really excited about playing my home game. We had to miss last week. Too many people were either gone or sick or work. I think we only got a couple more sessions of that until we vote if we want to continue doing it. We're playing Breachers, which I'm excited about running for friends. And then we only have 2 more episodes, I think, of 2 or 3 left for Wanted. And then I got to pick a new show. If you were there in Secret time, you saw one of the ones we're interested in maybe doing. I'm really tempted. I'm really tempted to do the one that we mentioned in there. It'd be a nice summer game, I feel like. It's kind of fun, chill. Like I have an idea, and it's definitely more my other style of running for games. That's for fucking sure. That's for fucking sure. The big case hasn't come in yet. It has transferred to me for me to order. So I think Friday I get to order the new crib. I think that's everything. I think that's all the news I have. It's your first day off. And it's a do nothing day. Hey, man. I feel that. Kyle, I'm sorry you weren't able to purchase the one that I'm putting out for the auction. I don't know who won it yet. It doesn't tell me until the payment goes through. Once payment goes through, I'll know who it is. And that's everything. Did you heat up your cheese bagel? Mine was from Alley Boys, of course. And it was their olive bagel with a smoked cheese jalapeno spread, a schmear. But anyway, we should probably get into the news here. Bunch of new stuff. I gotta tell you what, this is gonna be an odd one. There's so much cool shit coming out and not enough hours to play it. Demolishing it as we speak. Let me make sure I have my episode up. I don't know if I changed this out last night because I think it's still the tariffs one. Yeah, it is the tariffs one. Ha! Hold on here. We're doing a Is It Any Good today? That's our main one. Is it any good? Gotta find it here. This list is getting long. I'm gonna have to go through and weed some of these intro videos out. There's so many in here for me doing this show, guys. Here's the April 16th one. I started labeling them by dates just to make my life easier. All right, so let's put this up on screen. We'll get the recording started. Let's grab a song on here. I'm just gonna do the first song. I actually really like the intro on this one. Start recording. And where's the ad? Ad? There we go. That's the ad. I need to make one for EFP. I need to make one for news. Oh, well, it's fine. It's fine. Oh, God, that's some spice. Maybe I'll do a report on Pixel Dice at some time. I kind of want to. All right. 3, 2, 1, music. Hey everybody, this is EFP Live. News for this week for April 16th, 2025. Let's get into this. I'm going to try to round this up and do it as fast as we can because, you know, no one wants to wait around all day, right? Right. So let's get on the board. Let's start with this. I haven't actually went to TGN tabletop gaming news in a long time, but we have Cobalt Press to launch a whimsical new tabletop RPG, Riverbank, in 2025. There has been a lot of this kind of whimsical, homestead, calm, like just easygoing RPGs coming out. This has got some Paddington the Bear going on here. Paddington the Bear right here. Anyone else seeing that? Cobalt Press announced its latest project, Riverbank RPG, set to launch on backer kit in April 2025. The game designed by acclaimed author, I think it's Kaiji Johnson, promises to be a unique blend of charm, whimsy, and narrative-driven gameplay, offering a fresh departure from the company's previous works. I mean, that's cool. I don't know what made them decide to do this. Let's see if there's more on it. Oh, look at this. This is cute. I don't know, man. No, it's not Critical Role at all. This is very different. It's a cozy game. There's a lot of cozy games coming out, which is cool. I mean, I'm assuming there's an entire group of people who want cozy games. It doesn't fall. I think I would do it for a solo RPG. Let's see if it's on here. Hey, look, we got a video and everything. Let's check this out.
Dust off your finest hat. And
let's just go to YouTube for this.
And tighten your suspenders, because you're invited down to the riverbank. In this new cozy RPG from Cobalt Press, you navigate the intricacies and often the bedlam of polite animal society. Designed by award-winning writer Kij Johnson and featuring art by Kathleen Jennings, each page
it's pretty.
Charm and whimsy. At the table, your decisions matter. So, while animal life might seem as effortless as a stroll in the garden, your social calendar demands much more than a stiff upper lip. Riverbank introduces a new role-playing system, and players must balance their characters'
I like to win dice
and poetic sides. Veer too far to either side, and total disaster may follow. So grab your friends and put on your finest plumage. Then come dance a waltz of whimsy with a hint of hilarity and a dollop of drama. The cozy Riverbank RPG awaits.
I love the cloth preview, or the cloth version, the collector's edition. I don't know if these are stickers, tins, or these tea. Those look like they're tea, don't they? Or potpourri candles, maybe? I don't know. That really cool wooden dice. It's cute. It's very cute. Could be a real fun one. I'm not a huge fan of the cozy games, but I will definitely take a look at it if people are interested. I think I'm going to start doing Thrones for audience members who want me to review stuff. That they can, if they pick me up a copy of it, the PDF, I'll review it on stream. That's what I'm going to do for things that I don't know about. I'll obviously still be reviewing my own stuff as well. But cool, it's cool. Why so many cozy games? I feel like they make a great solo game. That's what my brain tells me. This would be a great solo game. So what else we got going on here? We have Riverbank. What was our next one? Oh, I found a really cool new Reddit section. This Reddit section is OSR News Roundup for April 14th. I'm going to share this into the chat as well. This is a great resource for anyone playing OSR games. And I found it today. I'm going to be putting this in the newsletter without a doubt. If this is something that this person does every week, I feel like this belongs in the newsletter format for the Courier, for the Corpse Courier. If you don't know, I started doing a newsletter. It's once a month. You can either pick that up over the links down below, or if you're in chat, ! I think newsletter does it, if I'm not mistaken. If not, it's Corpse Courier. So let's take a look at the OSR News Roundup for April 14th, 2025. This is really solid. So welcome to the third roundup in April. This week, published an interview I conducted with Daniel Kwan, the author of the upcoming Wandering Blades, a Wushu-inspired OSR game being published at +1 experience. I like to revise my Meet the Publisher series, so if you're anyway adjacent to TTRPG industry, Whether an author, an illustrator, publisher, editor, I'd be happy to send you some questions about your work. That's pretty cool. I didn't know they were doing that. Huh. Well, check out what's going on here. There is Mort Draken RPG, New Rules Light Fantasy RPG, inspired by Karen. I am a big fan of Karen. Big fan of Karen. I see someone got to work in chat there. Thank you. With a sweet pixel dungeon vibe for serving hands, fighting with her pixel dice. Don't worry, it's not them. It's a different company. We don't want you to, don't get upset. There's Jeffrey Jones and producing some great old school content over the past year. So they just launched Kickstarter, combine the volume of issues 1 through 6 of Gary's Appendix. Now, while I could read through all these, there's two that I wanted to see actually. Monster 24, which I pulled up, but also the Herbomancer. Herbomancer seems really cool. This is written for OSE. It's an adventure in an abandoned botanical garden. It's written for a party of 3 5th level characters. Look, I think this could be an amazing part to put in Breachers and the Verdantian Wall. That's my concept with this. I think this would be super cool to play. I love the cover for this. Herbomancer. Really cool art. It looks really good as well. I'll be putting a link to this down in the show notes along with everything else, but I'm excited to see this. Don't be surprised. I don't run a lot of pre-written adventures, but don't be surprised if you see me reviewing this at some point in time. It looks really cool. Really cool. I'm super excited for it. So this is one of the new ones that were in there. Herbomancer. I thought that looked cool. And then we have Monster 24. Another noteworthy one that's in here, I would say, I was excited for the Spellburn Battlescar series from OSR, and Tome of the Ancient Hero looks good, and then Mind Over Matter. Great roundup. Love what they're doing. Great work to Third Kingdom. I hope you keep doing these. I will be following what you do. So with that, there's another one that looks really cool, and this is in that Shadowdark realm. Monster 24 is over on itch.io. Monster, everybody likes I like monsters so much, I spent most of 2024 obsessing over them, jotting down their stats in little black notebooks and sharing them on Reddit. The final result is 250 monsters statted out for the most excellent Shadowdark RPG. And now, thanks to heroic efforts, a prototype from the Shadowdark community who rescued them from Reddit's obscurity and undertook the laborious task of formatting them for the eyes. So this is a full-on 250 monster book. Check this out. You don't get monster books often. You don't. And this is an itch.io. I think this is more than worthy of sharing to everybody. I'm excited. I don't see a price. It's a name your own price. I'm about to kick some money back for this, but 250 monsters is my jam. What I would love to see to any of the artists out there is to take this 250 monsters and do 250 monster pieces of art. Todd, I'm looking at you. Give us some black and white ink drawings and fill all of the pages with art. I would love to see these so they can be dual-sided cards, or maybe the tents that go over your GM screen. Really cool pieces. I'm definitely gonna be downloading this and looking over it. Don't be surprised if you see some of them make it into my show as well. So that's the Monster 24. Really cool. I did not know that Monster 24 was even a thing. This is the first time I had seen it. I had no idea. There was another one that came out that is a new quick start rules called Die RPG. Find everything you need to enter in the Die RPG. I don't really know much about this. It came across my table. The suggested price is pretty cheap. I don't, do any of you know anything about this? So this is the Die RPG. What's in the book? What's in the box? I need that. That's gonna have to be one. I'm gonna blow this up so we can all read it. Die RPG. Quick start is the fastest way to own Warp Fantasy World. Includes complete but simple rules. Die question-driven character creation. I love character creation that is based this way. I really, really do. Even if you're playing a more OSR, OSE style game, I love having questions to drive things. It's why I made defining moments for ETHAUNTIA and why it's going to be one of the core things that come out from my Dragonbane stuff. So the dreams we had as children, a scenario by Die Creator, and then advice on how to get the most out of playing and running the Die RPG, full color illustration character sheets. Oh, that's cool. Each of the game's Paragon classes, the Dictator, the Emotion Knight, the Fool, the Neo, the Godbinder, and the Enigmatic Master. I love the names for this. Huh. This might be something I have to look into. I've not seen this before. It says it won the RPG Magnifico Award for Play Moderna in 2024. I don't know, is that an Italian award? Magnifico? That's really cool. $3.99, whole thing. Box set's coming out. That is the real news. I guess they're going to be putting out a box set for this, which I don't know with tariffs and everything else if we'll get it in the US. If you haven't seen... yeah, the names are super evocative, Nick. 100% agree with you on that. If you haven't seen what's going on, Cephalofair just did a big press piece with CNN about how the tariffs are stopping them from being able to really sell anything in the US until this stuff blows over. So I'm curious if we're only going to be getting PDFs for a while and how it's going to change our tabletop RPG kind of culture in the US. So really cool. Excited to see this. I might be checking this out as well. I love the names of those classes and the story-driven character creation. That's what sold me. That is awesome. That is awesome. Now, in the chat, Serving Hands mentioned really amazing art, and I can't wait to show you this next piece. Tethered Flesh, a dark fantasy body horror RPG, dropped on Drive-Thru RPG. Now, if you know me, I'm a huge fan of anything body horror. I love it. It's one of my favorite things, especially in the horror genre. If you've watched any of the stuff that I do for the Headless Knight stuff for Corpse Talk or Rise and Design, I talk about horror news all the time, and body horror is some of my favorite. So let's take a look at Tethered Flesh. Dark fantasy body horror RPG. Now, there was a really fucking weird HBO animated series with spirals. And this is what this reminds me of, this horror look to it. Like the fucking, she's got a meat mallet hammer. Really cool looking piece. It's on sale right now, half off, as Blackhand is trying to pimp this thing out. I think next week, this is probably what we're going to look at. My question is, what is it, what system is it based on? 50% off during launch week. Get your copy today. Successfully funded on Kickstarter. Born into the world of trauma and violence, Flesh twists its horror, and a world is a prison of endless metal. The celestial levels are vast, decayed, and filled with the tethered abominations. You either adapt, carve your place in the world, or become just another piece of meat for the tethered to reclaim. This looks amazing. Like, what is this? So it says flesh-driven horror. Power comes at a cost. With the Fleshworks system, players can graft mutations, consume viscera, and tap into dark abilities, and knowing their decisions may scar the body, mind, and soul. You are not evolving. You are decaying usefully. This is just going in my cart. Add to cart. I want this more than anything else I've seen in the last couple of weeks. This looks fucking amazing. Is there a review on this? There's one. Simple, robust system, great for building onto or use by itself. And as a horror enjoyer myself, the theme is also fantastic with eldritch rich horror campaign. I'm ecstatic for this. If anyone else is interested in picking up Tethered Flesh, fantasy body horror RPG, I will put this in chat, and it will also be in the show notes down below. So after this, we got one kind of drama-y piece to talk about. I've been trying to keep the drama out of the news for TTRPG, since for those of us who live in the US, our life is surrounded in drama constantly right now. No politics, no religion here, but you know what I'm saying. Polygon published an article from the ENnie Awards. ENnie Awards change course. Will no longer allow AI-generated content. This effect will take effect in the next round of awards in 2025 and 2026. Oh, ENnies. Hear me out. Why wouldn't you just make a category for AI-driven art, an AI-driven story? Why wouldn't you just make a category? We have a category for special effects in movies and 100 other things under the sun that are computers making art for a person. Why not see what an AI generated category could bring? Because hear me out. Hear me out. This is the Eminem philosophy, right? Like, say the problems and get out in front of the problems before somebody can make fun of you for it. Let them in and give them a category and see if it just creates fucking garbage like you all say it does. Be pretty cool. There are now some ethical AI sources out there that are getting better for art. Maybe make them cite their sources or whatever the fuck it is you want to do. That's not my fucking job. But I kind of would like to see an AI generated category just to see what we get. Go ahead. Let an AI try to make an entire tabletop RPG for you. See how that turns out. Let it explain how to do stuff. I promise you, you're not going to get what you fucking want out of it. But I mean, look, I guess ENnies can do whatever they want with this. I'll put more of the article. I'm not going to spend time reading this out. But the article's here for those who want it. It'll be in the description down below. It's in the chat as well. I just don't care. I just don't care. I know too many amazing people making art, and you're going to support who you want to support. I don't like the theft and stuff like that. We've talked about that on the show. The theft part is bad. But everyone who's worried about it taking jobs, I just don't see that being the case with the quality of stuff that I see come out of AI. It's just a tool, man. It's another tool in your tool belt. And sometimes you need a power screwdriver and sometimes you need a manual one. And you'll be surprised, the manual one is the one you use most often. But anyway, that is it for me for EFP News for April 16th, 2025. For those of you who are watching here live, stick around. We got a lot more to go over. For the rest of you, go look at any of the videos that appear around me right now. Click the links, and down below you'll see that the Corpse Courier newsletter is now once a month. If you're interested in all the things that I pull from the few sparks left in this dying brain, go ahead and pick those up and subscribe. For everybody else, stick around. We got a lot more to do. All right, let me end this. Woo! Yo, okay, so I'm glad you mentioned this because I just watched a doc on Jeff Koons. His actual art looks like AI. Oil on canvas. Made to look like a clusterfuck. Yeah, man, like, I'm being honest with you. Anyone who does any form of mixed media, their art is going to look very similar to AI. Very similar. Because AI uses mixed sources, and I grew up at MyAd with a college at MyAd with an amazing mixed media artist. And that mixed media artist was Tom Knopfsinger. He did physical mixed media, which was, I don't know, man. If Todd is in chat, Todd will know who I'm talking about. Todd and I know, admire a lot of Knopfsinger's work. I didn't get along with the guy my first year. He was a stickler, but man, he was a fucking amazing artist. And actually a really good teacher. I just didn't like what he was doing because I was young, dumb, and stupid. Now, looking back at it, this guy, the stuff that he did in his mixed media, you know what? I'm going to see. Let me see if I can find any of Tom Knopfsinger's work. It's so good. I think it's Knopfsinger art. Let's see if we can find any of it. He used to have a portfolio because he works with the Milwaukee Institute of Art and Design. Let's see here. Is he had an exhibit last year or the year before? Huh. I think his wife does mixed media too. He's a G, like an absolute G. Man, did he ever have... I know he has a lot of stuff. He's got like the high... Wow, look at this, guys. Check this out. I don't know this thing. This is like a rate your professor. Oh, he pissed somebody off. That might be mine. I'm just kidding. This didn't exist when I was there. Let's see if we can find him. Todd, if you ever see this and you know of Tom's work somewhere, can you post it down below? Artist in Milwaukee. See if this pulls anything up. I mean, it's pulling up a lot of... Oh, this might be it. Let's check this. And we'll go into reviews. Yep, the balloon dog guy. Yeah. What are you saying over here? Using Tug Glass in the art world for decades. Sure has. A real life artist can make pieces look like this. How can AI be demonized? Art is so subjective. The artists have leached off of each other since the very beginning. It's true. But that was their choice, I guess. Jeff Koons, balloon dog guy. Yep, that guy. And my argument wasn't that. My argument was I think you just give it a category, like we do for any other awards. Stop being afraid. Give it a category. This guy just wants to see what happens if you give it to one. Like, see what you can make. I don't think you're gonna be happy with what it makes. That's my point. I think you're gonna be pissed. I think you're gonna be like, this is garbage. You know what I mean? Like, you're gonna be like, I don't want any of this shit. No, I don't want this. Man, I was really... Let's see if his profile has anything. That's my boy! Tom, you got some of your art in here, homie? He does not. Man. I might have to go over to my ad because they used to have a bunch of his artwork on display. I might have to see if I can punt some of it down. You know what I'm saying? So let me put these links really quick into my notes here, because there's a few new ones I found when I was doing that talk that I'd like to add to that. Die RPG, this here. This looks cool. I mean, the name of those classes are fucking great. They're really good. Like, those are some fucking evocative, perfect names for classes that make you want to fucking play it. You know what I mean? Tethered Flesh, though, this is getting bought. I don't even know what it is. This, though, Nick, did you know about this? Did you know about this? Look at this list, dude. This guy's write-up is amazing. Really good. Dude, I don't know who this is. I'll be looking at that more deeply over the next week. Great OSR news, though. You said this is the third one that they've done? I use Reddit for some things, really curated things. I also... as someone who does broadcasting, content creating so much, I just don't take what people say about me personally. I really didn't once I grew up anyway. Not something that I did anymore. People are just dicks. But I know that most people who aren't talking aren't assholes and they enjoy what you're doing. So, but this, I will definitely be telling this guy to keep it up because this is fucking cool. And Herbomancer looks really fun. This looks really cool too. I'm also going to add Herbomancer into the list here because I think that it deserves a spot. I'm going to put it right next to this one. Herbomancer. And we'll keep that. And then we're going to go into reviews here, everybody. So you guys remember how this goes. I'm going to go through them. We're going to highlight things. I already highlighted some of the first ones. So we're doing 2 books today. And I want to cook through them. And then I'm going to record a recap for each one. Everything's toxic, man. People can disagree all they want. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I agree with what you're saying. 100%, Nick. I agree with what you're saying. 100%. The digital world is just full of loudmouth people. Some of them are really cool. Some of them are not. So let me close all these out. This is cool, though. I was surprised by this. I was honestly a little surprised. You know what I mean? So I have the Aetherpunk thing here. I have all my notes. We'll review Darkspace. All right. So I'm going to just put up and close this. I want one of these here. This is super cool. I'll be definitely downloading this today. Those are cool. I'm keeping things up that I want to look at later. Okay. All right. All right. So we can switch over. Got a seed stuck in my tooth. Will do. Did you look at the 250 monsters? I'm going to send this to Todd while I'm thinking. Let me send this to Todd. Telling Todd to do black and white illustrations. I have it pulled up to address later this evening. All right, nice. Homepage. Because I think I'm going to mention Corpse Courier during the end of each review. From the slab. Pretty happy with how this turned out. Really clean. Toe tags, baby. So eventually this show is going to switch over to these overlays, I think. Really thinking that's what's going to happen. I'm going to switch over to the Corpse Talk overlays. So I can utilize them more. This is a very old overlay set. Very fucking old. And this is the only show that uses them. Ogre Force was the last show, but let's see what we get here. So, Acrobat. So let's go through this, guys. I looked through this one last night. I know that I talked about it. I talked with them. I'd like to get them on the show. I met these guys at, I met these guys, met people playing this at GaryCon. It was like, besides Shadowdark, this was the next big thing I kept hearing about over and over again. I love this cover art. I think this cover art's super fun, super clean. It evokes every sci-fi set piece all in one. Crash ships, That looks Star Wars-like, but not exactly Star Wars. This is an 86-page rule set. 86 page. See, someone took... Hey, Todd. Oh. Hi, buddy. No, I was sending you some information. A guy did 250 monsters by hand in like little black notebooks. I think he's probably doing while he's at work. And then afterwards, a guy went through and put him in a stat blocks. I was like, Todd should go through and pick the best art and do black and white artwork for it. So, Todd, this might be up your alley for some sci-fi goodness. So, this is pretty cool. I went through and highlighted some stuff in orange just to make sure my highlighter here matches. I don't want to highlight in black. I want to highlight in orange. Not that dark. Yeah, I think it needs to be a little darker than that. That's good enough for me. Fuck it. So, two gentlemen made this. The credits are in the back of the book. So I'm going to go back here first. Gibson and White, Thane Gibson and Derek White. Rules inspiration by Nate Sims, edited by Steve Durham, art by Gibson and Shields. I think Shields is the cover. Darkspace logo by Bob Hoskins. Black letter, of course. They fonted that. Your font families that are being used. Old news types. And this is funny. I really feel like Kelsey kind of started everybody putting their fonts in, which I don't know how I really feel about it. I guess it's cool. I actually shouldn't say that. As a creator for third-party publishing, I like knowing what fonts they made, so I don't use their fonts, but I can get close if I want to stay in the same venue. You know what I mean? Created template by Broken Shield Press, so they use a template for this. Third-party license, Darkspace third-party license. This is awesome. DMing the World, they have a third-party license ready to go, which is really fucking cool. They did do a custom sheet for the game as well, just so you know. So let's go up to the beginning here. I'm going to scroll through this. I think when I do this review, I'm going to start on the credit, go to the credits page. So all your weapons, they took a little bit of an MCG, Monte Cook Games cipher system, where it's like blunt, light, blunt, blunt, heavy, boom, 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 boom. They wash, rinse, repeat that. And you can see that they've given the cost, the ranges, the damage, and the properties, right? And EC is its own new one, which we'll get into. It's the energy cells. But obviously this is based loosely around your sci-fi tropes. There are, but Black Letter is not one of them. Black Letter is not one of them. But encourage folks to make supplements, I agree with. Oh, wrong one. That was in the wrong order. I tend to do that with the thirds, the lower thirds. Yeah, you have to provide credit, right, for some of them. That is true. And I do agree with that part. It makes them want to make, products of similar things. If you want the brand to feel the same, that's cool. I kind of agree with Kelsey's point of view on it. Like, make your own thing. Don't duplicate what we're doing. You don't have to do black and white. That kind of me, fuck, I didn't do black and white. So, but the black and white is seeming to be what sells for this. So we'll see what happens. So, energy cell. Weapon requires energy cell to use on a critical failure. Natural 1d20. The energy cell is exhausted and will need to be replaced. Super clean. This is kind of how I would have wrote Star Wars blasters. That's kind of what this is. I don't know how I feel about this. I guess to make it simple so you can run any game, I hope they do a further expansion for the weapons, and they give us like manufacturing. I always remember the Star Wars, man, Todd, do you remember what magazine it was that had the manufacturers in it? I still use that concept. I don't remember what the fuck that was. It had like droids in it and weapons. I have it in there. Might not have been a magazine. It might have been one of the splat books for the old D20. But still cool. I would like to see some differences in future projects. You got to get your core out first. Your armor's in here. They got the exosuit, the ballistic shielding, other things that require energy. The ballistic shield's 1 in physical. This one adds life support. I love the astrogation's really simple. You know what I mean? It's a nice little bonus table. When there are blunt and force as weapon types, I kind of want a third called trauma. They complete the set. I agree. It should have trauma. I should probably do a blanket of review copies out there for people to get to see alternative aesthetic. Agreed. I'm going to put some reviews out for mine. I'm going to put it in the newsletter first, and then I'll put it out in some places. I already have a few people I've kind of talked to about looking over it. We'll see what happens. I've had a lot of fun with it. A lot of fun with it, actually. And then the other recipe card, I think, comes out tonight at 7, which is cool. It does. Black and white costs 1/3 as much as per art piece and costs $5 less per book. Yeah, 100% makes difference. 100%. I mean, black and white's just cheaper to print in general. Like, as someone who's going through all the printing stuff again right now, like I've done it for larger companies, but doing it for yourself, it's just cheaper. But I like using color to enhance readability and functionality to find things. I like a little splash of color on pieces. Not requirement. Obviously, I'm a Shadowdark fan. So you got astrogation on here. System, sector, religion, and galaxy for Darkspace. Body is con, mind is int, soul is wisdom. I'm assuming this is for, if I remember correctly, their version of psionics. If I remember, yeah, triad. I'm not quite sure what. If this is a hearkening back to these, like a man. Where's the drawing tool? Hold on here. Hold on to draw, baby, draw. Opacity, let's make this line weight decent. I think this is part of this. I think that's supposed to be kind of the Trinity, is this piece. The body, mind, soul, right? And it is what it is. We'll get into that later. I have a couple questions about that. But I can tell they're definitely trying to keep this clean and simple. The logo is very Star Wars reminiscent, which is fun. I would like to ask, if I interview him, what these pieces are for. There's got to be a purpose for that. DMing the world. So, table of contents. Let's get into my first thing, everybody. Ready? Guess what's missing? Get your booze out. No hyperlinks. No hyperlinks. It is an 86 page book. No hyperlinks. I haven't seen the printed copy yet, though. Spacers. I love this font, by the way. I'm a big fan of this font. Whole lot of folks in the galaxy, every kind you can imagine, they all got one thing in common. Every one of them looking to get paid. Captain Ronald Malcolm, the lightning bug. So you can see they are really bringing it back to the sci-fi series that we love. You can copy it if you want. I'll allow it. So, overview. These are the main things we're going to get into on here. I have things highlighted for me to talk about it. I do want to read the introduction. I'm going to read this again when I do the recorded version. Journey into the shadows and darkness of space with fortune and glory. Will you play a blue-collar scavenger, a hardened mercenary, a swashbuckling adventurer, or explore the boundaries of what it means to be human? Darkspace is a sci-fi RPG that uses rules like Shadowdark RPG and requires a copy of those rules to play. Very awesome. The Shadowdark rulebook, along with the free quick start rules, can be found here, which is great. I think that's smart. Terminology. Darkspace 100% compatible with Shadowdark. However, there are slight differences in terminology. Characters in Darkspace are called spacers rather than crawlers. Makes sense for me. Species. So you got species, which is cool. That's the difference of ancestries. Archetypes. Classes in Darkspace focus on more on heroic archetypes, which we're going to get into. I think I can pull sources from these gentlemen. I would not be surprised if I shake their hand and we're about the same age. That's what I'm guessing. And we'll get into that in a minute. I think Todd will probably see that as well. Background, spacers, occupations rather than backgrounds. See background section for details. Motivation rather than classic alignments in Shadowdark, spacers have motivations instead. I like this. I really like this a lot, but they're basically just 3 alignments again in style, but they have a little bit more behind them. Ship role, titles are not tied to your archetype, but your position and rank within the crew. I didn't go over the ship combat hard. I'm gonna be honest. The bar right now for me for fun ship combat is Pirate Book. It just is. 0 level spacer citizens. I love that they did some 0 levels. Yes. Yes, Todd. It's a mutant power. I gained that mutant power many years ago. Many years ago. It's a real mutant power. You don't have it? Man, maybe it's just the 80s generation, my guy. Maybe it's just mutant. It's only 80s mutant kids. Only 80s mutant kids. Speaking of which, before we dive too far, I want to point out that the Outgunned is getting a superhero piece. Dude, hold on. I do want to I have to say something about this. It's not done yet, but they're getting ready to do. We'll get right back into this. I apologize. I have to say something about this. Look at this shit. We're getting fucking superheroes for Outgunned. Dude, this might be the perfect system for superheroes. Might be. Really might be. I'm telling you what, I may run a superhero game. I may run some X-Men based around this being out. But anyway, back to what we're doing. And then I'll do the recorded version. So 0 level spacers, cool that they did that. I don't know why you would have gauntlets in space. I have questions on this. Maybe, I guess, I would like to have seen what the extra space that's here. I would like to have seen this section get filled with some samples of why you would do a 0 level. You know what I mean? Like what makes you like a ship's crashing, your 0 level surviving would be a really cool set piece for this. The idea of a contamination spreading through a space station could be really fucking cool. A planet under a meteor storm or electrical storm and your guys surviving as some creatures rampaging, escaping a prison. Like, I would like to see some reasons that a funnel needs to be mentioned other than just making sure you are covering it. Because I think that this could be a really cool section. Really cool. I just want to see a little bit of stuff in here for that. First look, first level spacers, rookies. And Darkspace, first level spacers, also known as rookies, are just starting on their adventures. That's cool. Stats, choice species, hit points equal or con, mod 1, choice archetype, HPC archetype, background motivation. Really cool. Chits and credits. This is a big thing in sci-fi. We're going to talk about this because I don't have an answer to it yet, but I worry about money balances in this kind of game. And not that they did it wrong, just that it's hard. Just that it's hard. Species, diverse life forms, everything that's involved. That's kind of the breakdown I want to do for this, but this is the coolest thing I think in here that I saw. I love the idea of build your own species. Todd, I'm sure this is something you'll enjoy, but basically instead of saying I'm an elf, I'm a dwarf, I'm whatever, you pick. So if you say you're going to be an elf, you just pick the thing from Shadowdark as the piece, and now you're a fucking elf in space. But they have these nice species traits for build your own, 20 of them. I think you could have done more. I honestly feel like you could have really taken one of those like Star Wars archives and busted that shit down. I think it could have been really cool. Androids in here, a little throwback. We all know what this little buddy is, right? We know who that is. That's Chopper, my guy. I love Chopper. So androids are a sentient artificial intelligence. They have everything in here. They get life support, which is pretty cool. Don't require food or drink, which is nice. Androids can choose any archetype, occupation, and motivation, but they cannot take the triad talent. Again, I think triad is their psionics. I know, I was agreeing with you 100%. We were on the same page. Parallel thinking. Parallel thinking. Really, really what that comes down to. I believe there's a lot of parallel thinking in design because of things we're watching and are influenced by. Multifunction android archetype, weapons, armor, all that kind of stuff. So this is kind of like their own. This is their own archetype, their own class in this, which is cool. They give them their own. They're very, very clean, very simple. They get 2 additional languages, 2 rare, so 4 in total. Not a lot of hit points, no weapons, no armor. This I thought was rough. Really rough. But that's because the way they work is you roll and you're basically building your class as you play. It's a little roustabouty. Doesn't have all the extra abilities. Choose or roll 3 traits from the species table. Androids cannot take the triad power trait, re-roll, or choose a different trait. So they get 3 traits. And that's why they don't get the weapons and stuff. Very different. Yeah, I agree, Todd. I enjoyed the build your own species too. We've seen it throughout history in tabletop, but I enjoy it in sci-fi a lot. For me, I don't enjoy it in fantasy, because I find that you get kind of just some bonkers fucking characters in fantasy, and that's not my jam for fantasy. Sci-fi, I like the zany, crazy stuff. I really do. So pretty cool. Hardware upgrade, might, farsight, 2 points to stats, armored skin multiple times. You don't ever get an arm. You don't ever get a weapon though. I'm a little worried. Like armored skin trait covers that, but like they're not combatants. They do get software upgrade roll. Roll 1 additional background. That's hot. This is dope. I love additional backgrounds. It was something I was doing for Shadow the Demon Lord when we were playing. Super fucking cool. Now, more art. Very, very vague, easy art. Play your sci-fi. You're going to notice that through all of this. Play your sci-fi of choice. They're not trying to land a setting. They're trying to land like an encompassing theme. So I want everyone to understand that as we're going through. So here's where I want to talk about the archetypes. Besides the droid, the archetypes remind me of D20 Modern and Everyday Heroes. I can see the hard influence out of this, where they are telling you each of our archetypes or classes are based around a stat. Now, granted, that is how classes are made. Okay? But when we get into this, you're going to see they're all based this way. And I think for me, when I'm playing Shadowdark, and this is just me, I'm looking for flavor at this point, because I want to know why I should be playing your piece, but nobody else has done sci-fi yet, hard, like a full setting piece, a full system piece, and that's what they're giving us. So I'm going to kind of set that aside, because I'm sure more stuff's going to come out for them where we're going to get maybe some setting specific stuff. So let's see. I know, Todd. I know. Todd, Warpaint's probably going to be black and white and splashes of color that I do over it afterwards. So, strong archetype, D8, add your con modifier. See, like right here, this should have been something based around strength. It's strong. Why? I was wondering why that's not strength. They're good with melee weapons, grit. You have advantage on strength rolls. Like I was a little curious about this doubling down between these two. Gain weapon expertise and 1 additional weapon, +1 to melee attacks, +2 to strength, dex, or con. Choose 1 category of armor. You get +1 AC with that armor. That's kind of cool. And choose a strong talent. Quick archetype. Same thing. D6. Sneaky. Quick shot. So this one's obviously shooting. This one is never tell me the odds. Luck token. This is a really cool ability. I actually kind of dig this. Start each game with a luck token. After you have finished the rest, you get a luck token if you don't already have one. Kind of fun. Reflexes. You have advantage on dex checks to avoid dangerous situations, such as avoiding a laser mine or flying through an asteroid field. Advantage on initiative. Quick shot deals damage. So you're going to see this is a repeat of like there literally are each one of the categories, which is cool. Tough heroes, heavy melee weapon, heavy range weapons. Now, I was surprised that they get that when these ones get all melee weapons. The strong heroes are melee only. They're like fighters and in your face. And then tough heroes are your let's get into it and brawl. Ranged weapons, bruisers, scrappers, that kind of thing. Big ass swords. Like this piece to me, I feel like this just should have been the strong hero. Because they get all melee weapons, but I guess because they're heavy. They're heavy in melee. Makes sense. Makes sense. Really cool. Shake it off. Pretty common. Unyielding's pretty cool. This is a really cool piece, actually. 3 times a day when you drop the 0 hit points, make a DC 18 con check. It's not easy. The resilient talent applies. You succeed, you tough it out, and stay at 1 hit point. Very cool stat. Very cool. Extra hit points, pretty cool. They get roll hit points per level with advantage. Awesome. I love seeing advantage on other things. I know Nick and I agree on that wholly. We're seeing more and more of it. Clever, scientist, hacker, strategist, light weapons, no armor, D4 hit points, additional common language, expert knowledge. Choose 1 non-combat area of expertise. If you're choosing, try not to be too broad or too narrow, i.e. medicine, too broad, brain surgeries, too narrow. Collaborate with your GM if you need. Add a +1 to rolls associated with the area of expertise. This is cool. Keen 3 times a day when an ally is about to make a non-combat roll, make a DC 19 intelligence check. If you succeed, add a D4 to the roll. I've seen this in a lot of fantasy, sci-fi style games. I feel like the intelligent hero in Star Wars D20 also had this, so kind of cool to see it brought over to this. Gain initial use of keen support, gain advantage on the area of expertise, 2 to knowledge or 1 expert knowledge check, learn 1 additional area of expertise, choose a talent, or 2 points to distribute. All right, pretty cool. Got the hacker vibe. Wise, this one was the one where I had to read it a few times when I was going over it. I didn't mark anything to it because I wanted to do this one live. Yeah, I agree, Nick. I think +1s are always a little weird. They don't feel as impactful as I want them to be. I changed that in Breachers because you said that. I was like, oh yeah, you know what? That's right. It should be a +2. Otherwise, it just kind of sucks. So, Mystic Sages, Counselors, Monks, that kind of idea. D4. Organization. If you use a luck token, add a D6. Notice they don't get armor. And I think since they don't get armor is why they get so many abilities. These guys get a lot of abilities. You know what I mean? So optimization, if you use a luck token, add a D6 to a new roll. This has got a little bit of that Breacher's vibe. Enlightenment, 3 times per day. You can make a DC 9 wisdom check. On success, you gain a luck token. This is cool. like just summoning luck. I kind of like this. In a game where you're using advantage and disadvantage all the time, the idea of a player being able to get luck back is awesome. I have a character class coming out for Breachers called the Tome Warden that can also do this, which I think should be pretty cool. I thought about adding it to my Berserker class, but we'll see. Insightful Defense, add half your level, round down minimum of 1 to your AC. Optional trait, the Triad. Okay. You may swap out Enlightenment for a Triad power if your GM allows. You gain an additional Triad power if your species trait is already Triad. Place a second talent on Wise Talents table below with gain 1 additional Triad power. We're going to get into Triad powers a little more when we get further into this write-up, this book. There's a lot in this. I feel like this is a really flexibly strong class compared to this one gets 2, right? And this one gets 3. And they get all armor, all melee weapons, all heavy melee, all heavy range. Like, it just feels like this is a really strong class. Granted, they're fragile as fuck. Okay? Super easy. Riposte once per day. Deflect a successful attack. Weird that, to me, this being an ability that you get that isn't one that you get up here is different. I don't feel like you see that a lot in Shadowdark. Correct me if I'm wrong for the Shadowdark fans of the audience, but really weird. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not against it. I just haven't seen a lot. Like, yo, you rolled a 2, here's your extra ability. Or if you roll a 12, choose your talent. Super cool. Charming hero. You guys know this is one of my favorites. Any type of charisma-based hero is one of my favorites. All of our people in Dragonbane, nobody has charisma. And all of our people in our Wednesday night game, I don't think anyone's charismatic. So you got light armor, D6 hit points, languages, Noah guy. This is a very classic style one. They worded it pretty well. Whenever you're in a populated area, you might know someone who knows someone. You might be able to help you with supplies, information, repairs, or whatever is needed. Make a charisma DC 12 to locate a contact that might help you. You still have to compensate them for whatever services required, but it's not like, instead of the GM going, oh God, is there somebody here? You're just like, hey, I fucking know a guy. He's a retired ex-pilot who repairs ships in his downtime, who's missing one of his legs and arms from a ship crash, but now he works on him because he doesn't pilot anymore. Whatever it may be. So sway, make charisma check, sway your audience, one of the following effects. If you fail, can't use that effect again. Motivate, beguile, a little bardish, bon vivant, group carousing with 1 or more charming characters, add a d6. This is cool. This is the wing. I think this should have been called Wingman. Or wing person. Whatever you want to put. Wing thing. Group carousing, where there's 2 of you, and if there's 2 of you that are charming, get a bonus. This is awesome. I agree, Todd. Noah Guy is a great spontaneous backstory development. We have used that in so many games. And Todd, I'm so sorry you missed the game on Monday. I hope you watched it because it was intense. It was an intense session for ETHAUNTIA. Pretty cool. Again, though, Scoundrel's Luck doesn't hear. So did they do this for every class? Did I just miss it? Hold on. Post. No. Man, I wish they would have made that universal. I would love to have seen that be universal. You know what I'm saying? They did it here. This is a really different table, by the way. Really different table. I don't think I've seen 2, 3, 4 to 6, 7, 9. Okay. Someone really wanted to give them another ability, and they like, oh, fuck it. We'll just make it on here. Sorry, I'm scrolling back. I'm doing this when I do the video. Gain advantage on initiative rolls. I did it for this one. Right? They gave these guys 2 then. 2. Huh. Okay. Okay. Weapon expertise is already on here. Yeah, I didn't do it here, though. I feel like this one deserves maybe putting a 3 in. You know what I mean? Like, or making 2 says gain weapon expertise with 1 additional weapon category. That's really big, but we already have it here. I would love to have seen this maybe here. Huh. I think that's the thing I would want. I feel like it's missing that, because I kind of dig it. Like, if you're gonna do it, go all in. Go all in the design. Okay? All right, let's get back down to where we were. We got a lot to do today. Lot to do. Love Scoundrel's Luck for that. Little X-Men vibe there. I know that's not what it is, but that's my brain thinks. Anytime I see an X in a circle, it's X-Men. All right, so now we're in the new section. Did we cover them all? We covered them all. Okay. So, background. So this is pretty cool. Your background as much as a part of you as your archetype, and it helps define what you're good at. By combining the two together, you have a better understanding of who your character is. For example, a strong soldier and a cunning soldier are 2 different things. Your GM may determine that you have advantage on rolls and situations with background applies. It's all normal. It's all normal, right? So they added a bunch of new ones in here. Bravo, by the way, to fitting almost all of these in one line. As a layout person, Nick, you probably get this as well. Like, fitting this is the only one that didn't make it into one line. I would just say, man, I probably would have ditched hard or environment or something. Roughneck, mining, hauling, salvaging. I would put mining, hauling, salvaging. Man, I don't know. I think I would have found a way to make it one line. I'm sure they fought over this too, but that's just like the things I notice. Oh, I didn't mean to double this. You see here, hold on. Can I delete this? Accidentally doubled it. I don't know how. There we go. So motivations. This is the part I was talking about that is their new alignments. Motivations reflect the spacious relationship with universals, societal, and hierarchical structures. The motivations influence character development and gameplay interactions. Each motivation has a starting bonus that a spacer gains when first created, and gameplay effects that occur when they act in accordance with their motivation. I have something called the moral compass that I did for Shadowrun and for Cyberpunk for a long time, because there's no alignments, but you should have like a guideline. I use a 3x5 index card for it. Really easy thing to do. I did a talk about it a long time ago. It's somewhere on my YouTube channel. I might find it again and redo it and make a digital version for people really quick. Use motivation as a starting bonus. So here we got. Oh, you broke my rule. You broke my fucking rule. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Nick Priority knows what I'm talking about. Exactly. What is it, Nick, that I don't like there? Todd will know it. What don't I like there? What is it? See how well my audience knows me here. What is it I don't like? No. Don't use V for both. It solves the problem. Just don't do it. You don't need to do it then. Just keep vile or virtuous and name the other one. I get it, but I will never do it. This is the same problem I have with Monty Cook games with Edge and Effort. Two huge mechanical aspects of the game with the same letter, and you constantly have to explain it to people. That's just my personal beef, I will say. So I just noticed that my Patreon thing, when it comes up, doesn't put the rest of the Patreon. Because it said it, but it didn't give the other ones. Huh. I'm gonna try something here. I think it might be the automation. I'm gonna save those. Correct. Top. I hate it. And you'll be surprised how often players pick the same letters for their name. There's no reason. There's no reason. That's why Nick was saying use Z, baby. And that's what we're doing. I've been using Z for everything now. He even corrected me when I forgot to do it in one of my stat blocks. He's like, listen, motherfucker. Charisma is the Riz. Where's the Z? And I went back and changed it because I just forgot. Of course I had it. So anyway, here's how they work. Starting bonuses. Roll in the citizen starting equipment chart for an extra piece of gear. Gameplay effect. Receive a luck token when acting in a way that exemplifies resilience and adaptability. Vile. The characters have embraced dark aspects of their ambition and greed. Starting bonus. Extra 2d10 credits. This is I think that you should get extra money every time you get money. You know what I mean? That's what I think. It doesn't make sense to me to do that. I'm answering some stuff while I'm doing this. Sorry, apologize everybody. Doing it live. Gameplay, receive a luck token when acting in self-interest or engaging in morally dubious actions. I see that they're really handing out more luck in this game and driving incentive for the players to lean in to get luck, which is what inspiration was supposed to be with your bonds, ideals, and flaws in 5e, which is super cool. Virtuous characters are guided by time-honored virtues of courage, justice, and loyalty. D3 trusted contacts. These can be defined before or during this is way better than money. D3 trusted contract. These can be defined before or during gameplay and will always assist your character when they're able to do so. Imagine if you walk into a scene and you have a D3 and you just stockpile 2 of them because you got a 3, and you're in a scene and you're like, I know this guy, we used to work together. He's like the big bad. And he's willing to help you. Fuck the rest of the party. That's fine, Mr. Solo. But like, I think that would be awesome. Receive a luck token when engaging in actions to uphold their principles. Super fucking cool. I just wish these were different words. That's all, that's it. And that's just a pet peeve for layout and for vile or virtuous. Like, I just wish it was named something else. I think it'd be cool, but damn, that's cool. This could be something a little more powerful, I think. Not a lot. I don't want to be, maybe powerful is the wrong thing, but like just a little something. Oh, it's way too thick of a line to be doing that shit. Hold on here. This is just so I remember it myself to talk about it. Oh, is there an arrow? Ooh, when did they add that? Hold on here, everybody. How's this go? Boom. Right? Oh, we don't want red. Always want orange. We always want orange. Okay. I just put an arrow there to remind myself. Reputation. This is cool. I love me reputation in games. I'm super happy they decided to stick with this and do it. We're traveling throughout Darkspace, spacers and crew members. Nothing's better than picking up reputation. Reputation is measured in bonuses and penalties from -5 to +5 along, what is it, three motivations, and is used in initial interactions with non-player characters. All spacers start with 0 on the motivation reputation. Pretty cool. So this is a nice little new system to be adding into the game. I'm curious to see... Oh, why? There. I'm curious to see what Kelsey does with her rep. And if this is on the same line. Very cool. Reputation shifts. This should be on the GM screen. I'll tell you that right now. I want this entire thing on the GM screen. Like, all of this. No! Stop making... You motherfuckers. I want this. And I'll just draw it. I like using the tools, but what's the cloud look like? Huh? What? Yes. That is... I'm using this all the time. I want that on the GM screen. That is fucking amazing, by the way. Is that in red, though? Ooh, you bitch. Ooh, you bitch. Nobody said they wanted this in red. Look at this. Shifting to dog walking mode. All right. So this is cool. They added this. I'm curious to see how well this works. Reputation, settlement, planet, system, sector, galaxy. That's basically the scale of +5, -5. Bounties, also really cool in a game. Spacers and crews also pick up bounties as a result. Their deeds or misdeeds use the bounty amounts table to determine the amount of bounty. So I was looking through this last night and I couldn't figure out what the difference was, and then my dumb ass noticed the one difference. So your bounty amounts are D4 times credits. So obviously the amount of money you get in this is a lot higher, and this is because of the ship part of the game. But pretty big, right? Bounty amounts? Pretty big. So you go down the next page, Triad. Mind tricks, lifting rocks, bunch of touchy-feely crap. Hey, what are you? What was I talking about? I don't know where the Triad came from. I think it's just because there's 3 abilities, and I think that's just my assumption. I'll ask them. This is definitely a question I'm going to have when I talk to them. I'd like to get them on to do an interview, but I want to know why. That's what I want to know. Why? Why? What's it for? Psionic abilities. I just did psionics for mine. Let's see if these are different. So body con affecting physical body. Yep. So that would be psychokinesis in mine. They have examples of it in here for body. Mind affecting the mind of other people. And then soul. Using triad powers. Triad powers is essentially a way to unlock additional uses of checks to accomplish metaphysical feats. What you want to accomplish with your power is only limited by your imagination, but must make sense within the confines of the power. The GM has the ultimate decision on whether it is or is not possible. In rare cases, the GM may require the use of 2 or even all 3 powers, depending on the complexity of the task. When using power, make the check using the appropriate stat to determine if you are successful in what you want to accomplish. Triad powers can be maintained beyond the turn with focus. Cool. This is a focus-based thing. But an additional power check, it requires the start of each turn But an additional power check is required at the start of each subsequent turn. Triad powers can be maintained beyond your turn with focus, but an additional power check is required at the start of each subsequent turn. I don't quite understand the wording here. Is it a focus? Or is it something else? This doesn't make a shit ton of sense to me. Maybe I'm missing it. Do they have a stamp action? They do. Hold on. Ooh, hold on. No. I want, do they have questions? Is there a question one? Ah, boring. I'm about to import some stamps. I could do a call out for it, I guess. I just want a question mark. That's all I want for it. Why is it got to block so much? There we go. I'm just going to do a question mark. I'm curious as to what exactly this is. I'm sure I'm just misunderstanding it or misinterpreting it, but I'm curious what it is. Critical success doubles numerical effects, similar spells. Critical failure is also an attempt failing. Use connection triad, waning a particular power. They're unable to use that power again until they've rested. Sometimes the use of a triad power will be against another individual. In this case, it's a contested skill check. So they brought back contested skill checks. Triad powers, that's not highlighted. Triad powers can be used to create an effect that resulting in a die roll, such as dealing damage or healing someone. In that case, the DC of the feat determine which die to roll for the final result. So they got a DC chart table for the bonuses. So if I'm going to DC 18, I have a chance of getting a 10. Triad powers can be used to make attacks and deal damage. Use a power skill check to make the attack either against the target's AC or as an opposed check, GM's choice. If there is a die roll involved in the outcome, then whatever the DC the attack would have beat determines what die is rolled. So you don't even have to preset this. That's kind of cool. Curvy lines, what the fuck? Gear. So here's all of our gear. We briefly saw in the beginning our little cheat sheet chart. You know what I'm saying? You gonna highlight for me? You want to highlight? You gonna do your thing here? What's the deal? I don't want to fucking underline. So 0 level characters or citizens, boom. That's for your quick game. 2d6 times 10 credit, rookie spacer kit, which contains essentials. It's gonna be kind of like the crawler pack. Everything's in here. I am curious how they're handling light. I guess glow rods. I bet you glow rods are torches. First one free. Pretty simple. Vision enhancer. Let's rebreather's cool. What's vision enhancer? Pair of binoculars, handheld assist. Oh, okay. Vision and spectrum other. Alexa, stop. Spectrum other than visible light. This requires an energy cell to use on critical failure. Hey, is this letting them see in the dark? I don't know, everybody. I would determine that using this to see in the dark is an action. It's the only way I think that works. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's the only way. Action? I think it would have to be for me. Ooh, that was weird. The mouse has clicked weird. I definitely had to buy a new mouse this summer. Melee weapons. Melee weapon categories. Blunt, light. We already saw these. Force weapons impact blunt. Power blunt weapons use force field technology to deliver greater impact. So basically they do extra damage when you're doing force. D4, D6, D8, D8. Why is it oh, two-handed, I guess? Wait a minute. What? Hold on. If this is a D6, correct me if I'm wrong, everybody. D6, D8, because it's versatile. Or vibro. There's a vibro. This is vibro. Okay, so we got a vibro weapon. That means powered edge that can be used micro vibrations to cut deeper and quicker. 3 CR. One-handed, it does a D8. And then this is a two-handed for 5, which costs more this should be the higher expense in my eyes, because this is doing a D8, but it's requiring 2 hands. You know what I'm saying? Like if that's a D8 and I have to use 2 hands to use it. Also, is this 2 slots then? I would hope this is 2 slots. I feel like that would need to be, maybe they changed inventory in this. I don't know, we haven't gotten that. But I do feel like if this is a D8 and this is a D8, this has a variancy between it. What's the point of the variancy if it's vibro? Powered edge weapons. Oh, but this is blunt. This gotta be versatile. Yeah, versatile. Either 1 or 2-handed. So if 2-handed does the extra die, shouldn't this do a D10? Or shouldn't this be D4, D6? Right? Like D4, D6, and then this would be D10? I don't particularly like that stuff too much. I would rework this as a GM. I want the player to, for the money, make it worthwhile. Where you can choose between, but your 2-handed damage should not be as much as your 2-handed weapon. Ranged weapons, all the ones that are in here we talked about before. Ammo, how are they handling ammo? Requires an ammo magazine to use. Same thing on a natural one, it goes away. Okay, I love all that. Super clean, super simple. Gives those cinematic moments. Your armor's in here. 11 dex, 13 dex, 15. What's pH? Physical armor, weapons, physical properties, ignore. Oh. Weapons with AP, ignore this armor. I really like these. This is some cool little added bonuses. Smart. All right, so Starfaring. We're not going to dive deep into this. There's a lot here. I still have a whole other book I want to get through. And I got to record the review for this. I read through this pretty heavily. The way I can best explain this is it is Starfaring, really clean, 2 types of travel, sublight and FTL, faster than light. Astrogation is involved. There are systems, sectors, region, galaxy, optional rules, traveling beyond. And then the destination is in the same system. It's the same sector. It's the same region. It's the same galaxy. Now, my question is going from system to sector a DC 12? That's the thing I wasn't able to find. Astrogation, this is important. Astrogation and star charts make it easier. Without star charts, astrogation is performed disadvantage. Super fucking smart. But I want to know if I'm going from like a system or planetary system is a collection of planets. We know that. Sector is a collection of systems. We know that. I guess it's just if you're traveling within a sector. Okay, I get it now. So if you're traveling within a system, it's just a 9. If you're traveling within a sector, it's a 12. So if you're going from system to sector, you would use the D12, I guess. All right, fine. Makes sense. Astrogation failures. Obviously, if you fuck up, D10 failure. Pretty cool. These are in here. I love the late one. I like that. That's a 10. You're just fucking late. How many days late you are. Matters a lot when you're doing things quickly in a game. And I don't know how long travel takes. I didn't see times, so I'm assuming you make it up. I guess if it's FTL, it doesn't matter because it's just a jump. That's some stuff I have questions on. Spacing between, oh, this here. This. That. I can highlight it. Yeah. I would have cut some words out of here to move this up at least a line. But hey, can't be perfect everywhere. I mean, I did a grunge one. Mine's haphazard on purpose. Astrogation, fail and mishap. I guess if I was just doing black and white like this, I would have made sure. Pretty cool. Oh, here's the travel. Okay, so here's the travel stuff. Piloting check is a dex check. Pilot's dex mod plus ship's dex mod. Okay. Versus a DC set by the GM based on the current difficulty. All right, cool. Fast and light travel is considered point to point, does not usually require piloting checks. However, because you are moving faster than light, astrogation mishaps are more certain. Ship stats explained. AC, HP, attack, move. So they're basically monsters. Okay. Measure how only applies stats. 6 scores that determine the physical and technical characteristics. Oh no, it's a full character. Oh, so they're just converting the stats of a character and how they are used. I'm going to highlight this to mention that basically these are the overrides. Okay. Oops, I didn't mean to. We do this from bottom up. Sometimes this happens. Do this from bottom up. There we go. Why is this flashing? What is this? What is this flashing thing here? Ever see that? What the fuck is that? I don't know why it's flashing. Is it on every page? It's on every page. Huh. Weird. Class of ships, fighters, fighters, freighters, capital ships. I would have renamed this and this. I know they're common. I would have renamed them. Personal thing. You only got 3 fucking names. Command crews. So they did positions on the ship similar to Star Trek and the old Star Wars. Yeah, I thought maybe it was a secret message too. Yeah. Right? What the fuck is it? But like, look, it doesn't do anything. I'm sure I could save it and reopen it. Let's see if I hit save if it does something. I don't need a virus scan. Fuck you virus scanning for? That's fuck Adobe, man. Adobe, why are you virus scanning the PDF that I've already used? I guess if it's shared, I guess it's a cloud doc, so maybe. Command crews. Every spaceship requires command crew for function. Here's a list of command crew titles. Feel free to add your own as you see fit. Only some ships have all of them. Captain, pilot, co-pilot, gunner, astrogate, chaplain, cook, engineer, medic, quartermaster, salvage expert. Okay, I get that. Space hazards, asteroid fields, black holes, nebulas, radiation field, pretty simple. Temporal anomaly, got a little bit of the Star Trek-y stuff right here. Wormholes, ooh, really clean. Radiation level, again, I know, I can see what you're saying. Ship combat, okay. This is where your competition is pirate board. I am not saying that you should duplicate it, but it is the most fun I have had in a ship-based combat system ever. What happens a lot of times in these games is we run into people trying to simulate mass combat or simulate ship-on-ship combat. And you really, I believe, need to define the style of combat you're doing in ship combat. The reason I say that is it changes the dynamic of the style of play you're doing. Or you have to give your game both versions. And if you do mass combat, it needs to be cinematic. Because if it's not, it becomes a miniatures game. I'm going to talk about that more when I do the recording, but my sample for that is the old Starfinder. It was designed to be Star Trek with positions on a ship. And then when you played it, the final version was written for mass combat. And the GM had to track so many fucking things to run that goddamn game. So, I didn't like it. So I don't know which one this is going to be. It just says ship combat is almost identical to regular Shadowdark combat with a few exceptions. Actions, spaceships in... Oh, am I out of music? I'm out of music. Oh no, hold on. I really liked that last one. I really liked it. I don't want ethereal sci-fi. Let's do this. 80s synthwave. So each member of the crew may take an action for the ship rather than their own individual action. All right. Movement. Only the ship's pilot and co-pilot can move the ship on their turn. Their initiative check includes the ship's dexterity. Weapons. Each weapon in the ship's attack can be used once per round. Okay, great. targeting systems rather than targeting a ship's hull. You can target their systems. I like this. I did something very similar to it in Warpaint. The AC to hit the target is increased by 3. Well, that's not as much as I would think. I would just say disadvantage. Right? Am I crazy for saying that? I would just say disadvantage. It's warm here today. A DC 15 intelligence check is needed to repair the system if all systems are offline. Ship destruction. 0 hit points, ships are disabled. There was something in here I saw that was cool. I think I marked it. At the start of each round, either the captain or the pilot makes a death timer roll. This here. This is a great carryover from character death to ship death. Super smart. Ship become either uninhabitable and destroyed, and you basically that's how many rounds you have. At the start of each subsequent round, either the captain or the pilot rolls a d20 on a natural 20. The ship stabilizes 1 hit point. This shouldn't just be the captain and pilot. I feel like it should also include like the engineer and shit like that. If I was a GM, it'd be whatever makes the most sense at the time. If it's a pilot that's trying to not hit something, if it's the engineer trying to fix the shields or the engine, if it's the gunner trying to get that last shot off before this shot comes in and destroy it, I would make that person roll, not just the captain or the pilot, just to give the pressure for different people all the time. But they keep the DCs the same, which is great. A successful DC 15 intelligence check is needed to repair the system. Repairing a single system stabilizes the ship and stops the death timer. I actually really like that. Very cool. It's the same as characters. There's not a lot to remember. It works really well. Here's where we get into the money part that I want to talk about briefly, and then we're going to scroll through the ship stuff pretty quick. Repairing a ship damage. The ship regains 1 hit point whenever a system or feature is repaired. So every 15 you get. Features can only be repaired at a spaceport or similar facility. But when you're stabilizing, you can make a 15 to repair a system. Repairing a single system stabilizes the ship and stops the death timer. So it sounds like when it's in death timer, you can do an emergency repair. And that's it. Otherwise, you got to be in port. So then you got to limp it somewhere. So these are a little contradictory. I feel like you could... I don't know. I have questions, I guess is the best way to say this. I would want to know, does this work other ways? Like, can I do anything with this? You know, how does this work when I'm out in the field? Maybe one of the classes can repair or archetypes can repair and I missed it. Features can only be repaired at a spaceport or similar facility. Hit points can also be repaired at these facilities for 100 credits each. So this gets us into the credit thing. Ships have about the same amount of hit points as players. So like say somewhere between 12 to 25, depending on the size. That's a lot of money. You do get a lot of money in this game, and magical items are not buyable, but there is tech. So your money in this game has a place to spend it. It's very important. It's about your ship. And getting players to track and do this is someone who is dealing with it constantly. Right now in ETHAUNTIA, I have somebody who's a big ship fan. He's an automotive mechanic. In real life, he builds shit all the time. So he's tracking the ship stuff because he loves that part. But I find when you don't have somebody who loves tracking ships and money, this becomes a nuance. And it sucks because I love that stuff, but your players have to. So keep that in mind when you're running these kind of games. That's not a harp on Darkspace, just in general. But 100 per helps with where your money's coming from. And then we get into ship modifications. They expect you to be in your ship a lot. Customizing ships, each ship has a number of slots and feature slots based on the ship classification, which is similar to what I did for my vessels. Additional slots can be purchased at 1,000 credits a piece. Cannot exceed a total of 10 in each category. When purchasing systems and features, a ship can have more than one of the same system or feature. Oh, cannot? Can. Okay, can. Feature as an auxiliary system or an extra component, so you can have redundancy. Additionally, some systems can be upgraded to an advanced version at the cost, basically an additional slot. And then down here, it tells you what the upgrading ships cost, what you get out of it, and all that jazz. Upgrading a ship stat, Additional stat increases can be purchased at +1 increments for 1,000 per piece. This is kind of cool. It says no stat can be increased above an 18, but you can make your ship better. I love that. I think that's a really good way to dump money into your ship. Such a simple way to do it. Advanced ship systems, how they function, what they do. And then why is this not highlighting? Can I just be on my highlight again? And then we have ship components. These are different things you can buy for your ship. Pretty cool, pretty simple, nothing crazy. Break it down by the type. Ship weapons and what they do. There is disabling as a new feature here, which is cool. They also talk about in ship weapons. Where's it at? Might be in combat. They talk about damage to people. Might be in the next section. Huh. So if memory serves, I thought I marked it, but the damage is double to a person and personal weapons are half to a ship. And I feel like it should say heavy weapons can hurt a ship. Because other than that, I don't know how. Like, where are weapons here? Here we go. Personal weapons do half damage to ships, and ship weapons do double damage to people. I'm fine with that. Like, vaporize people. Don't fuck with the ship. But I feel like personal weapons... Your blaster pistol shouldn't be doing shit to a ship. I think it has to have, like, AP or something. I would say it has to have something. Because their ACs aren't crazy high, and you'll see that when we get to them. We're almost done here. And I'm going to do my recorded version. Ship properties, jobs and salvage. I like this. This is really cool. They made new rules for salvaging and getting things, and they're basically their version of treasure tables, which is really cool. So you can get jobs that pay. They have salvage and how they work. Scrap and salvage allows spacers to earn a bit more credits from the junk that they find. Monsters and NPCs have 50% chance of carrying salvage. Just roll 50%. Did they have anything? Yes. And then you can also, as a normal DC 12 wisdom check, look for stuff. So a WDC 12. Then they have job payments. Here's your levels, what they pay out, levels, what they pay out. You'll see that the die changes, but the multiplier is the same. I feel like they could have done this in one table, personally. Common cargo, things that are there. Job types. This is a 2-page spread. This is very similar to the rules in Dragonbane. Really simple. But basically you roll the employer, the job, where's it at, location, or sorry, in the same galaxy, sector, system, planet, region, settlement, building, right? Then location, involving, and. Really love this style of generating a adventure. It's super clean. Then they have your treasure tables, or in this case, salvage tables. There's some really fun stuff. When you get into that 80 plus, there's some actually really good items, which is fun. If we scroll through all of these, we're at 80, we're at 67 of 86 pages. Salvage 10 plus, 10 plus, 10 plus, upgrades. Upgrades are pretty cool. Upgrade qualities, a benefit, a drawback. These are your magical items in this game. Enhanced weapons and armor. Bonuses go from 0 to 3. Sentience, there are some AI weapons. They put cybernetic implants in this, which is somebody who loves this kind of transhumanism stuff. I was excited to see this. I hope they keep it up. I hope they do something really fun with it. You'll see that there's a lot of things that, again, they're trying to hit that blanket of stuff. So, skill softs. Alien incubation pod I thought was really cool. This is the one I highlighted. It just happens to be the first one. A metal canister with a reinforced glass and glowing egg pulses inside. When you activate it, the pod causing an alien larva to hatch and attack the nearest creature for 5 rounds before scurrying away. Drawback, the alien larva will grow into an alien beast within D12 hours. This is from Aliens. So you can kind of see the things that they're building out of it. I do wish that augments and upgrades in cybernetics were separate from one another, right? I wish cybernetics was in its own thing. That's just me. But they put a lot of really fun items in here that fill all your sci-fi fantasies. Okay? Denizens, new monsters. Super happy with the breakdown and classifications when they're grouped. It's very clean. But I will say, there was some flavor in here I wanted more of. But I like the automaton. I like the blast. to fix it. Like those are just like general, wouldn't they just be called androids? Artificial intelligence in mobile form includes androids and robots. Oh, this is just their classification for it. Okay, I got you. They do say they may be purchased level times 100. This is cool to purchase them for your ship. I thought this was dope. Pretty cool, right? Really simple. Alien beast, black ooze, space bats, crabs in space, space pirates. And then you have your stock ships. Here's where I have questions. If I'm an AC-8, that means anyone can hit me, which is fine. You're always getting shot. What the fuck is the point? What's the point? I guess they're base. You haven't added anything to them yet, but I want to know when you're in space combat. I feel like you will for 10,000 credits. I am gonna dodge space combat as much as I can. As much as I can. Because I'm gonna get blown up. And I didn't see anything. This was another question I had. Do you and your spacefaring crew start with a ship? Is that a thing? Do you just a GM grant one? How does that work? How does that work? So I know there was some systems, you can get some AC upgrades, you can get some hit point upgrades, but that means a pistol it does a D6. If 3 people shoot at it with a pistol, doing half damage, there's a good chance that long range freighter is gonna blow up. So there is some things in here that I don't understand. So I'm going to read this because I didn't. Nimble starfighters, corporate bulk cruisers, reliable old hunks of junk. Spaceships come in every shape and size, and no two are alike. The ships presented here are only a small sampling of the infinite variety of ships that can be encountered in dark space. Prices are included if you would like to purchase and sell them. See the ship modification section in Starfaring Chapter for information on how to customize these ships. So like if I shoot you, it's a level 1. I just don't feel, my biggest argument is 2. 1, the ACs are low and I'm fine with that for ship-to-ship combat. This isn't a combat. It's a battered but reliable hunk of junk. When they get shot, I would want players' weapons to be able to damage them. I just wouldn't. I don't think it makes sense. It needs to be a heavy weapon. It needs to be like a rocket or an anti-vehicle weapon. So that's number 1. I like the write-ups though. I love that they're like monster stat blocks. I think that's really cool. Trinadians are psionic creatures, really cool. Is there anything special here? Nope, super clean. Troopers, you know, we all know what this is. We all know what sci-fi thing they're from. Custom carousing table, you all know I love carousing tables. So they make custom ones here, which is awesome. 2 cycles spent weaving through a dozen starports, belting out ballads, fueling the rivalry of a synthale, and celebrating amongst the sector's finest. And then this is really fun. I really like this. So really cool. Thank you for making that. And then our credits. So I'm going to do a quick review of this. I always review. So when I record these, I refer back to this stream. So people know that, there's more. If you want like a deep dive, my review on it, they can look into it. But overall, I think this is really good. I think this is a really like baseline want to play sci-fi. Put tables and cabinets from Eclipse Phase outside of your ship. Instant invulnerability. Yeah, dude. We found out that cabinets and tables were just way powerful. I wrote in the book the changes because if you hit behind it, rail guns couldn't shoot through them. We were on a moon shooting at them when he was behind cover. Could not hit his character. He's like, oh, looks like it soaks it all up. I love that game. That game is super fun. So let me record this, everybody. We'll start recording. I'm gonna get our music ready. I'm gonna go to here. We'll do our ad, because I can actually use this ad. So let's see how quick I can do this. 3, 2, 1, music. Hey everybody, we are here to do a quick review of the Darkspace core rulebook based on the core rule set of Shadowdark. If you want a deep dive look into this book, go check the live stream. It's down below. Now, Darkspace is based around the idea of using Shadowdark as a sci-fi rule set, but they have kind of put a new dressing over top of it to make sure that you're getting all your sci-fi needs. And you're going to get things like build your own species, new archetypes, which are their version of classes. They've changed the idea of alignment with motivations that give you luck and some extra things. I've highlighted a huge chunk of this book as we quickly go through the chapters in this quick review and give you an idea of some of the things I really enjoy out of it and some things I would love to see expanded as they put out more products for the line. So let's dive into it. Let's see what we got. This art is evocative enough to make you go, oh, it's an all-encompassing sci-fi system. From Star Wars to whatever it is you want to play, everything is covered here. I will remind you that the credits are in the back of the book and not on this first page. And they immediately start giving you things like your weapons tables and stuff that you were trained to look for in Shadowdark. You'll notice I highlighted the EC section here. This is an energy cell. I've always enjoyed this style of not tracking your blaster rifle. You know what I'm saying? Where if you just roll a 1, hey man, change that power pack out. Really nice, really quick, really good for cinematic play. They added new armors in here, and you'll notice as we go through these, your armors and your weapons are like light, medium, heavy, or light. There's another version, heavy version of each armor type or each weapon type. Astrogation chart right out of the front. I've highlighted this section too. You'll notice that they have the triad. This is my belief, 3 parts of their psionic system. It's a very build your own, your imagination is the limit kind of thing, and your GM helps set the expectations with an easy table for what damage it would do based on the DCs you roll. Pretty cool, very clean, allows you to do a lot with it. I expect to see, since this is also an open gaming license through this company, people putting out specific triad powers. That's my guess. We'll see how the future goes for that. But I do hope somebody puts out maybe a set of cards or some actual triad powers that people can look for each of their sci-fi games that they may want to play. Or maybe this company's going to do it. I don't know. With that, we move into our next section, Darkspace rules. I highlighted those 2 things because if I interview these guys, I want to ask them, what are the 2 gaps for? Just want to know. Created by these 2 individuals here. And then we're going to go in. The one thing I will say that is missing from this, and I will say this because it's important, there's no hyperlinks. Maybe they're going to put a hyperlink version out, but a PDF that's 86 pages in an OSR style game system, I want hyperlinks. I want hyperlinks in all my PDFs, especially with the prices going up. Just do the due diligence of adding hyperlinks and backlinks so that they go to where you need to do. It really helps someone navigate this on their phone or in PDFs. I say this every time. I can't put my fingers between 0s and 1s to hold those pages. So hyperlink me. For all those who are watching this live, you know what to do. So then we got our space overview, the introduction. They break down everything that you need here. I've kind of highlighted some key pieces that are in here for you. It's 100% compatible Shadowdark with just some terminology changes. Species instead of ancestries, archetypes instead of classes. Backgrounds still exist. They're basically like occupations. They still provide advantage on the things you want to do if it makes sense. They have motivations now, and then your ship role is also part of it. We'll get into the ship stuff as we get closer to the back of this PDF or this book. They did put 0 level in here for spacers. If you don't know what that is, 0 level is kind of like the gauntlet you would run. For me, the first time I had felt this was in DCC, but numerous groups have done this. The funnels, the gauntlets, and so on. Shadowdark already has it. What I would love to have seen is this little space here gives some advantage, like ideas, like a crashing space station, under attack, a mutiny on a pirate ship, asteroids falling and crushing a planet, a building that's under siege from aliens. I would love to see a 0 level gauntlets giving people ideas of what to do for a sci-fi setting, because I think that would be great, or even listing themes from movies. You'll notice that they have your rookies, which are your first level's people, and what they can do, and what they start with. They also talk about their starting credits. Credits are really important in this. I would say that credits become what you use really to upgrade your spaceship. Because after a while, you don't need credits for your player character anymore, for your actual creature, your person you're playing. Species, they've done some cool stuff with that is broken down. You get a trait. So you want to play an elf, you take the trait that an elf would have, but you'll see here, you can roll trait for whatever it is you want for this. And I think this is a really smart idea. The idea of rolling, or if your GM says just pick what you want to be, awesome. If you want to be a scion, try it. If you want to randomly roll it, you can. Getting flight or walk speed, this is a really cool set piece. Now, I didn't see dark vision here, which makes me happy. Thank you for not bringing that back. That's why we love it so much. Androids, my boy Chopper, Slapper, slap instead of chop. You can see that they've made a kind of its own ancestry and their own thing. They get life support. This is the only pre-built ancestry, I would say. They do say that they cannot get psionic powers, aka triads. When you go through, they get their own archetype. This is a really fun one. They get a hardware upgrade. You'll notice that there's no hardware upgrade here, right? But they get an upgrade trait here where they can roll on another trait. I love this. I think the idea of making these number 2 special things is cool. You'll see these continue as you go through, but a few of these archetypes didn't get them, and I think they should go back and change that. Some fun art pieces made so that you can play whatever set piece in sci-fi that you want. If we keep going through here, you have your strong archetypes. This stuff harkens back to D20 Modern, or for newer players, Everyday Heroes, where every one of the archetypes are based on one of the stats. I was a little surprised that the strong hero got a con-based one, but hey man, you wanted to be able to carry more gear slots, so that's pretty cool. I think it should say you can add your con modifier. I think it should just be double your strength. I think that would be what I would do for this, but I get what they were trying to do. You gain weapon expertise again with one additional weapon on that too. That's already one of their powers, but this seems to be the only archetype that does that. When you scroll through here, quick, you already know what they are, your gunslingers, assassins. They gain advantage on initiative rolls if you roll 2. That's not in here, which I thought was really cool. And I started to notice this trend of each one of them getting something special in that 2, and in the case of the tough hero, 2 and 3. They get a shake it off ability and they deal extra damage, D4, which is super fun. They don't say anything about re-rolling talents. So that means if you roll 2 a couple times, you could be a beefcake hitting real hard. It is a tough hero. Pretty cool. Scroll through these again. Your clever hero, your scientist, your hacker, your strategist. Again, you're going to see they get a lot of cool abilities. They get one additional use of keen support here, but they don't get a special one. I was hoping again, in that 2 slot, you would see something special. I just think it's such a fun idea for this game. I would like to see them repeat that piece moving forward. Wise archetypes, mystics, sages, counselors, monks. You got enlightenment here. A lot of stuff about getting luck tokens back. Insightful defense, add half your level rounded down, basically to your AC, so you don't have to wear heavy armor. They have an optional trait where these people can become a triad instead, which is cool. But they get the special ability to riposte if you roll a 2, which is pretty sweet. And then Charming Hero, which is of course my favorite. You guys all know I love playing the talkers in the group, the fixer, the face. Know a guy, which is really fun. I really like this ability. It's the idea of walking the city and going, yeah, but you know, don't worry, GM, I might know somebody here. I actually think of the GM, this is more of a help to me than it is to them. It lets them say they know someone and lets me set the hook out there for them and they can get right to it. Then they get Scoundrel's Luck, which they don't get normally, but that's their kind of power level 2 talent that they get, or if you roll a 2. Backgrounds, they added new ones. Really good job. Almost got them all to fit in one line. Bravo to you guys, because that's just time consuming. Trying to get it all to fit is not easy. Motivations replace your alignments. You got Survivor, Vile, Virtuous. They all give you a starting bonus, and they all give you an in-game play effect, which are all for how you generate luck tokens. If you played 5e, if you didn't know this, Bond's ideals and flaws, if you lean into them, are supposed to give you an inspiration. This is that same kind of a feel. While I love the change, is it gives you leaning into your their alignments. Actual mechanical bonuses. I do wish that Vile and Virtuous both didn't start with a V. It's a personal pet peeve, but I do think that 2d10 extra starting credits isn't as great as rolling the Citizen starting equipment chart for an extra piece of gear, or this one here, which is the Trusted Contacts. I would like to have seen the first two get something more similar to this starting bonus of contacts and not credits, because eventually those credits just aren't going to matter. Now, if it is, you always have 2d4 or 2d10 or 2d whatever credits in your pocket at any given time that are just expendable once per session. That could be a really cool Vile concept. Reputation has been brought into this game. I think it's needed for your sci-fi games because you live by your rep, die by your rep. Maybe that's just the cyberpunk in me, but they added that in here. We know Kelsey's putting it in her new Western Reaches coming out as well, but this is their version for -5 to +5 along the 3 motivations, how it works for you, what happens. They do shift in game, and you can see here settlement down to galaxy and how they work, and reputation and downtime rules. Very fun. They added bounties because you got to have bounties in your game, right? Like, why the hell would I want bounties? The Triad, this is your psionics in the game, or your force, or whatever it is that you're playing. I do have a couple questions on it. I think Triad represents the metaphysical, but I think it's supposed to be the body, the mind, and the soul. You can see these below. Instead of having really specific powers like spells, they're more generalized, and they tell you the things that you can do, and you set the DC between you and your GM on the things you would like them to do. It even says the GM can require more than one of them to be used. When you use your Triad powers, you can focus on them. The rules are here. I have some questions about, like, do I focus on more than one? Do I have to roll each round? How does this function? But overall, I love that you can pick it, and the DC that you roll, not that you pick, the DC that you roll determines the damage or the die type that is used as you are using it. So if you roll a 9, you only heal a D4, you're really tapped. But if you roll a 15, you get a D8. Really fun way to do it, really clean. It literally takes 1 page for them. Gear, starting gear, a bunch of new gear. They got it for citizens and for rookies, you know, that 0 level. Glow rods are in this as well. That's kind of like their torches. Lots of stuff in here. Go through. There's new abilities that have been added, new features that have been added. Visual enhancer. I believe this should be an action if you use it in your game. It's binoculars, but they're better version or computer assisted vision. But I think it should be an action use, so you can't just walk through a dungeon like this, seeing in the dark. That's my belief. It does, though, use an energy pack. So every time you roll it, gotta roll a d20. If you roll 1, it needs a new power pack. And power pack takes gear slots, if you're wondering why that matters. Weapons through here, you can see there's blunt, light to heavy, force, light to heavy, so on and so on. I don't understand why the damage is D6 and D8 here. I think there should be D4, D6, or maybe D6, D8, and D12 for the heavy weapons. The only reason I'm saying that is the cost is 3 and 5. This really only matters in the beginning of the game. This is a two-handed weapon. It always does a D8, but you have the choice of it doing a D6 or D8 here. Really cool. They added vibro weapons, the things that you want in the game. There's new features that kind of explain how these work. New range weapons, same style, light to heavy for your pistols and your rifles, grenades, energy weapons as well. Again, those energy cells that every time you shoot, if you roll a 1, you run out of power. New armor in here. They added a ballistic shield and an energy shield. You'll notice really clean weapons with disabling D property affect this armor. Weapons with armor piercing, AP property, ignore this armor. Really nice way to handle bypassing it based on the 2 weapon types that we're so familiar in seeing inside of sci-fi games. Starfaring, they go through the whole idea. There are 2 types of space travel. Sublight, faster than light. Astrogation is very important. There are items or gear that make your astrogation easier, either providing advantage or disadvantage. You'll see that they have system, sector, region, galaxy, and VCs for traveling in them or to the next ones. Astrogation failure, because that's the only time really bad stuff happens. Otherwise, it would require piloting. I do enjoy the late part, but I have questions on time, like travel. They say FTL is pretty much instantaneous. I think it's kind of like flat space or fold space. But you become late and you get knocked off course when you're doing astrogation in FTL. Stats for ships are the same as players. You can see them here. To kind of break down how they would work, like strength is pulling, pushing, ramming, while charisma is deception, intimidation, probably over screen. Pretty cool. And for clarity, earlier in the weapons, V does mean versatile, which means you swap. You can do one-handed or two-handed. I just don't think it should be the same damage. Someone in chat was asking that. Great question, and I'll keep that in the recording. So moving through, you have only 3 types of ship: fighters, freighters, and capital ships. So basically small, medium, and large. The command crews, what you do on the ship, while you pick this role, they don't really seem to do much unless you are a captain, pilot, or co-pilot. Kind of vague descriptions on what you do in the ship. Hazards, I like a lot of these: your asteroid fields, your black holes, your nebulas, your radiation, your temporal anomalies, your wormholes. These are all things that you see in sci-fi. It's great that they gave us quick tables for these to help out. Ship combat. Ship combat is almost identical to regular Shadowdark combat, except for a few exceptions. Actions, basically you give up your action, do a ship action. Movement is the initiative of the person piloting, plus the ship's dexterity bonus. So you get those 2 bonuses together when you're making your rolls against them. So the pilot is taken into it. And if your ship is a little husky or slow or not great at moving, well, yeah, your initiative's not going to be as good. I think you probably roll once for initiative, which is, do you roll 2 initiatives then? Huh, that's a good question. Weapons. Personal weapons do half damage to ships, and ship weapons do double damage to people. When we get into ships, you'll understand why I highlighted this, and we'll bring it back up. I do like the second line. The first line I have a few addendums for, but maybe there's a reason they did it that I missed. If you know about why they did it that way, comment down below. I just don't see pistols being able to take down some of these ships. Targeting ship systems. I love this. AC, add 3 to it, and you can actually blow up systems. A successful DC 15 intelligence check is needed to repair a system. If all systems are offline, the ship is disabled. See ship destruction. Speaking of ship destruction, they kept the death timer roll here. Use the con for the ship, and that modifier is how long you have until, basically it's like the countdown clock. 5, 4, 3, 2, boom. Captain or pilot rolls a d20. On a natural 20, the ship stabilizes one hit point. After this roll is made, the round proceeds as normal, and the crew can attempt to repair the critical damage or abandon ship. So a natural 20 is going to be hard to get. I think you'd be blowing your luck points on that. DC 15 to get it up and running. Little piece I didn't understand is you can repair the critical things that happen, but when you do repairing damage at a port, it's 100 credits, whatever their CR name was again, per hit point. And you can repair systems as well. But it says you have to be in a spaceport or similar facility. So I don't know if they mean once you're out of combat, you can only repair this stuff if you can make it to a port. How that exactly functions, I think it's kind of up to the GM and how they want to do it. Ship modifications, there is a plethora of things that you can do and place on a ship. You can even buy additional slots on your ship for 1,000. Each ship comes with their own amount of slots based on the size. And you can upgrade them. You have to install them. There's things you can do. There's advanced ship systems as well. And there's a whole list of components. This is really where your money is going to be going, because you're not buying a lot of magical items. You may buy some things coming up like cyberware, but most of your money is going straight into your ship. Ship weapons, same damage. And remember, this is damage ship to ship. They do double that amount when they shoot a person. I don't know, man. If I get hit with a projectile cannon that costs 200 credits from a ship, I think it just vaporizes a person. I don't know, double is enough. Maybe max damage would be a better way to do it. Or max 1 die, or re-roll 1, 2s, and 3s. But I feel like when a person gets shot by a ship laser cannon, they go away. But this is something you can addendum in your home game. This is made to be a real blanket set of sci-fi rules for you to game and use. And I guess these things are more GM advice from me than anything else. Not really critiques on the system. I love this disabling. I always like the ion and energy-based weapons that disable things, which is pretty cool. If you are watching this later, my little piece here, you covered your piece up. I miss my stuff when I edit all the time, and this is just from me to you as a, hey man, I do it too. You sometimes make them editing mistakes. So ship armor, All the stuff is in here, works just like a player character. There are new properties like energy generators. Those are pretty cool. The armor requires energy generator to use on a critical hit, 20 on a critical attack against this armor. The energy generator is damage and requires repair. You can also focus, remember, fire that generator and try to take it out, which is really fucking fun. I do think that players shooting with weapons, if every ship has an energy generator, it will be harder to blow it up with human weapons since they only do half damage to it. Jobs and salvage. Great that they have ideas for jobs in here. Salvage, 50% chance that monsters and NPCs carry salvage. I would say ships as well, since they treat them like characters. You basically make a DC 12 wisdom check to see if there is anything. They have their jobs 0 to 6, 7 plus. A breakdown of the money you can make between easy to extreme. The same difficulties you find in Shadowdark. Also some basic common cargo you would find on things. And then this reminds me of Dragonbane. Maybe they got it from there or from somewhere else, but build a job. It's like Build-A-Bear, but to make money, because, you know, that's important. And you roll through these here from the employer to the job type in the same, have it be galaxy or sector. And then it goes into the location involving it could be a ship, an animal, relic, and so on. Great way to generate a idea for your next job. Then they have salvage table, which are like treasure tables for Darkspace. You can see they have all of these in here as we scroll through these. Some of them are really fun as you get into that like 80 plus section for +2 enhanced armors and the like. Pretty cool that they added magical items or items they made for the game into it. Magical items seem to go from a 0 to 3 as well, which we'll get into right after the salvage section. Upgrade. We all know this. Benefit and drawback for theirs. We're used to benefit and curse for fantasy, but it means the same thing. Enhancements for weapons and armor. There is sentient things, which would be AI. They have cybernetic implants, which is cool. Firmware updates, skill softs, ship enhancements, everything you could want sci-fi wise. They even put our favorite alien movie as an item in here that turns into a small alien larva that blows up into a large alien in 1d12 hours. You can go through here, find all the sci-fi goodies for what you need in your game at home. Now, I just want to say, there's a lot in here. They even added their own monsters, and the cool thing they did is the automata, or the droids in this game. I think they could have just called them droids. They even put that you can buy them in here. And it is level times 200 credits to get one for your ship. If you play Star Wars, this is important, or Star Wars kind of games, or even if you're playing Doctor Who or anything with a robot, you want them in your ship. This is how you do it. Super clean, level times 200 credit. So we scroll through here, you can see they've added them, a bunch of random just things you need from Space Pirates and Medics. They have your stock ships in here. This is the one where I have some questions, and I would love to interview the guys from Darkspace, see if we can get them on, maybe Corpse Talk. But AC 8 and 12 HP, if I'm people with pistols shooting at this hunk of junk, if 3 of us are firing at it, I'm gonna blow up a freighter in no time with just a pistol. I mean, an 8 makes sense. It's like shooting the broadside of the barn from the inside, but it is a 10,000 credit cost. So I'm curious how this works, or if everybody would have these item slots filled and feature slots filled. But I do worry about getting shot by personnel weapons and nuking a ship so fast. Because even if you look at the short range fighter, this is more durable. It's a smaller ship, but it's a 14 AC. Well, and that's when if it's moving, obviously. And 10 HP, like, these things are gonna get blown up by pistols. I could walk up and whack this thing with a sword and break your ship. These are for your psychic characters, the Triadians, I think is what it's called. There's an apprentice, cultist, master, you know, all those people you find all over the place. And they've given them powers that simulate things from sci-fi that we've seen. Troopers, we know the guys in white. Carousing table, custom, super fun. I love this here, another way to spend your money. I kind of wonder if these tables should be higher because the amount of money that you are making. So as you are getting credits from doing salvaging, this 30 credits is easy to get from doing one salvage run. Maybe these should be a little higher, but that's just me as a GM talking. And then the carousing outcomes are in this as well for you. Some really fun ones in here. Credits, of course, third-party license. We know this is a Shadowdark one, but Darkspace has made a third-party license so you can make things for their game as well. And then, of course, they have brought a character sheet for their game. So if you're looking for a sci-fi game, I feel like this is a really good baseline sci-fi game that if you want to play whatever your favorite sci-fi thing is, Ice Pirates, for example, you have the way to do it and still play your favorite game of Shadowdark. If you like what you've seen here, click any of the links that are around. If you want more information on my really deep dive into this, please check out the link down below for the live stream. I went into a little more detail on each page and all the highlights and my thoughts on what it is and what I would do as a GM running this. But of course, until next time, everybody, watch, listen, learn, be a better gamer. Or if you subscribe to the newsletter, you know what I'm going to say. Stay fucking rotten. All right, so that's recorded. We can put that out. So we have another one here to go through. We're going to go through Aetherdark. This one, I'm going to save this. This one is a beefy book, everybody. This is beefy. This one is 308 pages. Now, with that said, I've already looked through this last night. I think I went through almost all of it. Almost. Time is it 6? I think we can get this done. A little water from that speech. So Aetherdark's not out yet. We're not going to go too deep through this book here because the Kickstarter comes out. I think they said the 22nd. Let me look at my cheat sheet. Hold on. Yeah, April 22nd, closes May 20th. Oh, hey, thanks. I don't know if you were still here. Yep. So the things are going to make this distinct. This is from their notes. Let me just move this over to here. I want to make this easier for me to read. I have a cheat sheet from them. There we go. So quick and easy rules for crews and ships, in and out of combat. The build off course Shadowdark with the rules without replacing them, which I think was what most people are aiming to do. Basically giving something. This is definitely more of a setting. To remind everybody, I would say Aetherdark is closer to a Spelljammer style game, but a little more creepy than that. It's definitely got more of the dark aspect to it than you do in Spelljammer. Maps for every ship, 18 full unique ships, extensive setting, introductory campaign. I know there's going to be a quick rule set as well. I'm going to put some links in there as well. Since I have you here, do you want me to put the quick start PDF in there? Is that something that people can grab yet? Or is that going to be once the Kickstarter launches? Because if it's going to be when the Kickstarter launches, what I'll do is I'm going to go through this and then I will record the overview version of it, because I'm going to edit these, obviously. And then we'll take the edited version and I'll make that live so people can check it out when that comes out. So I'll do this review right now. We'll just go through it. And then I'll record a version of this that's a little more succinct for you, since you have a Kickstarter coming up. I'll also record a few vertical clips that I'll put out around the start of your Kickstarter as well. Support the community, you know what I'm saying? It's linked on the Kickstarter pre-launch page. All right, awesome. Well, let me drop this in chat right now, and I will also put it down below, and I'll put the quick start page as well for the Kickstarter in here. I do all my updates to my videos that go out on Wednesday night, Thursdays. Tonight I have a home game, but I will put it probably out on Thursday. I'll put this in here for those who want the quick start rules. And then the release for the game, hold on here. I have this saved as well. Can the Kickstarter page be shared out as well, bud? The starter one? Pre-launch page? Yeah, you said I could. There we go. That's the pre-launch page for everybody as well. I'm going to open that in here. I already did it. I'm ahead of the game. I know what I'm doing. I already have it here. So we're so we can definitely go over that too. All right. So I'm not going to record this one live. Well, I'm not going to do the 10-minute recording. I'm only going to showcase this one, and then I'm going to record something off air for this to do like the review piece, because I want to go through it. I want to digest it because it's 300 pages. I've been started reading it last night, and then I'll record a live, like a full version of it later this week. I'll probably do this on Friday for this is when I'll record it. I'll just do it off air, but we're definitely going to go through it right now. This will be part of the live show because I want people to be able to see it. So let's take a look at Aetherdark. Obviously we have the creator in chat. See you, Todd. Have a good one. So let's check this out. I'm going to first bring up the Kickstarter. I think that's probably the best idea. So let's do PDF off, Chrome. Let's head over. So this is the pre-Kickstarter page, the pre-launch for everything for Aetherdark. Definitely a Cthulhu-esque vibe on this when I was looking at it. Aetherdark expands on the ENnie award-winning rules, a Shadowdark to add flying ships, ship-to-ship combat, battling leviathans, and fighting alongside crew. The rules are focused on simplicity, adding depth without slowing down the swift gameplay Shadowdark is known for. Don't wait, though. You can get the quick start guide, which is what I linked earlier. Oh, Nick, you got to play test it. That's awesome. So I will say, I looked through this and I have questions that I can answer while you're here, but we should definitely do an interview once you start this up. We'll do Corpse Talk. I don't know if you've seen Corpse Talk yet, Micah, but it's a heavy metal interview show mixed with playing a tabletop game. So we play a game live and you get interviewed while we're doing it. So we do a question and then we do a round of combat. And the audience has built the dungeon and you're trying to get the Headless Knight through it. Okay, it's pretty entertaining. I haven't done it in a little while just because we were having problems with everybody's tech who kept coming onto the show, and I've worked out those bugs for some of those people. But make sure you're wired, have a decent mic, have a camera, and then we play live. And you actually play in the game, and they basically, you're playing through it. They use Streamloot cards and build the deck, and then we go through and you're trying to survive round and round and round, and then we go through a normal conversation. There's like a hot topic area where we go through like it's not 20 questions, but it's how you get your hit points back. There's like fast fire questions that you have to answer to get your hit points back. When you find the head of enemies, you get the power of that head that you carry with you. I think they're currently carrying the head of Rob Schwab that spills visceral words. It's pretty entertaining. If you're not interested in that, we can always just do a regular interview as well. But that's my main interview show. So it's pretty cool. This is going to be on the 22nd. I have a advanced copy, so we're going to go through that. I also got to say, I really like some of the things you have in the beginning of the adventure. I'm not going to pull it up on screen today, but there's some things in the beginning of the adventure I think that you really kind of nailed, guiding people through how to track their adventures. It's something that when I was helping Lou Agresta lay out Razor Coast that we did for that, and that's a thick bitch. Do I have a Razor Coast out here? Hold on. Let me see if I have it. I do. So Razor Coast was a Pathfinder 1 supplement. Yeah, it is. It's a fun interview format. So this is the Razor Coast that we did. This is back when Wayne Reynolds wasn't an arm and a leg. This was a big ass book. But in the back, we made, because this is a big multi-time campaign, and we made sure we gave them areas to track this is a full campaign, like 1 to 15. And we gave them ways to track it along with areas to find their adventures and things like that. The PDF super hyperlink. This is a really fun adventure, and I saw you did some similar things in that, which made me really happy to see. So let's take a look at Aetherdark. So I won't ask too many questions because I'm going to ask some of these during the live interview. But let's see what we got. I love the art. It's got that scratchboardy style to it. I'm a big fan of that. Who did the art for you? Or did you do it yourself? I like the star backgrounds for this. Dinghy, pincer. I make a rough draft of them as I go through, and then I go back and do another one. I also do plotted adventures, which are plot web, and you have boxes that you check off as you're going through the plot web. I did audio guided plotted adventures as well, which I may bring back for Breachers. I haven't decided yet. So dinghy, striker version of it, sloop, corvette. These are obviously different classifications that are in. That's awesome. See credits in a couple pages. Okay, cool. Thanks. Stay haulers. I love the multiplier just by size. Very easy to do. So it ends up becoming your multiplier. Ship armor. Runic copper plates. Got some style. This is definitely more of a setting feel. This definitely has more of like a full-on setting. That is a brave soul right here. That's a very brave. This dude's brave. That is a brave soul. Aetherdark layout. Oh, you got the art. Okay, Brandon Shield. Gotcha. Art by Bruno. Caustic. Nice. Cool. How long did it take you to make this? You got your ships and your crew. I have a bunch of questions if I interview you about ship combat and what's going on with them, because there's a lot of bad ship combat out there. I don't know anything about yours yet, so I'm not commenting on that, but there's just stuff that it doesn't make you feel like you're in combat, and it doesn't feel like everybody is important. Nothing wrong with that. I think you should put a setting. A setting, I think, is what makes it original on top of it. So ships. So speed stat. I'm assuming maneuver stat. Yep. Attacks, hull points, siege engine attacks, deal 1 hull. You went with hull points? Okay. Spend 1 week, 1 supplies, repair. At 0 hull, make checks at disadvantage. Hits, injure crew, damage upgrade, okay. I did the same thing. I just changed mine as well. Breachers was in a totally different system, switched it over, and then my main campaign, ETHAUNTIA, switched from, it's had many systems, but I settled on Dragonbane for that one. Required crew needed, operate normally, max space, provisions rating, cargo slots, okay. Crew has all the normal creature stats, crew, morale, recovery, assist the PCs, that's aiding people. Crew actions, if no PCs were assisted, take 1 action, last initiative. Okay. Siege weapons, so these are like your cheat sheets you should just print and have on hand. And I know there's a cheat sheet as well in the files that you gave me. Siege weapons, Dex or Imp. Okay. Attacking ships, damage the hull on crit. So this is really, the ship combat is very important in this one. Ship boarding actions. I love boarding actions. I love seeing them in games. I think they're important. Rallying the crew if morale is a problem. I'm assuming morale must come into a problem, come into play later on in the game. Direct the crew. Yep. Yeah, I figured that. Study the enemy, automatic, inside near DC 12. It's a study and figure out what it is. Automatic, inside near, and far to count enemy crew or weapons, so get an idea of what they are. That's that spyglass, like they have 8 cannons, so on and so forth. Astral swimming, that just sounds like a really bad idea. This sounds like a horrible idea. No, I don't want to go astral swimming. Lighting, dim light, obvious, moving ships glow and are noticed. That's true. Unlighted stationary ships are noticed at near and close. Okay. Did you kept the distance? Huh. Yeah, I know it's spelled out better later. You kept the distance, though. I'm surprised that these are not bigger distances. I'm surprised that that's not like its own bands. I probably would have made my own bands for that. Rival crew, like rival crawlers, nice. Naval movement, naval combat, non-naval combat, speed check, okay. Without steering, 50% chance to veer, true. I grew up on the water. Sure, yeah, no, yeah, that's true. But I mean, for vision, I would have changed these. I think obvious moving ships glow and are noticed at sight far in nebula, which I like. Unlighted stationary ships that are close and near. I mean, that's 5 foot and 30. I think I would want this to be maybe double close, 60 foot. 30 foot on the water, you still usually see objects. Of course, you're in space. It's a little different. Naval movement, I like that stuff. Pursuit. Ooh, okay, so pursuit rolls. Nice. Astrophenomena present. My favorite chase rules right now are probably the ones from Blade Runner. If you haven't seen those, definitely check them out. They're very influential for how I think chase scenes should be ran for cinematic combat. Perform round actions. Lead ship either goes towards or away the phenomenon. Okay. Pursuer decides to follow. Okay, cool. Closing in. Close. Flyby. Lock. Nice. Ram. If nobody maneuvers. Locked. Brace. Travel speeds. Shifts. Okay, so you've added shifts to this. Not a new concept, but awesome to see someone do it for Shadowdark. Yeah, the chase rules are really fun. I mean, like, really good. They use decks for them, but you could do tables for them just as easily. And they're a blind draw between you and what you're going after. And basically you can be like, I want to do X and they're going to do X. And then there's an obstacle that's drawn every round that both of you compare what you're deciding to do to the obstacle. Really fun. And I think for ship combat, it works really well to make ship combat not just this the whole time, where you're shooting each other and it's just this. It really adds some dynamic stuff to it. I know that's something I'm going to do for ETHAUNTIA because I have airship combat in mind, which is obviously different than being in space. Okay. Crew size, provisions. Nice, I like this. I hope there's a ship character sheet in here. All right, it's check-in time. It's hyperlinked. You already got a brownie point from me, my friend. It's hyperlinked. That means more than anything else to me. So what do we got? Crew, stats, advanced, reputation, event support, ships, big breakdown, necro furnace, woo! Oil slick heart, steam engine, acquiring an ether ship, custom ships, okay. Gameplay, awesome. Travel, GM advice, exploration XP, I like this. Aether, the Aether, ethereal mechanics, Aether ships, astral civilizations, magic physics planes, the float. What's the float? I'm curious to see what that is. Let me make some highlights here because I'm going to highlight stuff for me to read through tomorrow. Terrain. Okay. Worlds, entering a world space. Okay, so like getting into it. New enemies, new Leviathans. Civilizations, the Crusade, Echoes. I love the term. I like Echoes for a lot of things. Oh yeah, this is the art piece I was looking at the other day. Pirates, of course, navies, Astral Kraken, Congealed Nebula, masterpiece. Okay, I did not see any new kin or classes. That had to be intentional. I would have wanted some new classes or backgrounds for this game to fill it out. I mean, you got 300 pages. I feel like I would want like some more astral based backgrounds and things like that. Is that going to be an expansion book? Is that what are all of your ancestries and backgrounds and classes going to be in another book? But it's Shadowdark. I like that it matches it. I mean, that's smart. Not in this book, okay? I want that stuff for the player side of things, but I get that this is to make ship combat, but I feel like, man, I don't know, dude. I think I would have had to add some. But hey, if you got a secret thing in the background, I'm not gonna make you spill it here. Maybe if you come on Corpse Talk, I'll pry you. Yeah. Aetherdark can be played in many settings, but its purpose is a particular way. The universe makes sailing ship between stars a sensible endeavor. You have a different concept of how wooden ships sail between worlds. These rules will work still then. The random tables for the Aether will make less sense. If you want more of a setting, you can find fiction and rule books at Aetherdark.com about Aetherfaring civilization, the Ring, as well as some of the distant worlds. I think I would make them some stretch goals. Or maybe part of the advertising. It'd be kind of cool to see some of that come out maybe with the advertising, like some of the ancestries or what you're doing as maybe some of the lower end stretch goals coming into like maybe brochures or pamphlets or thinner zines. It'd be kind of cool. Yeah, I figured you had a ton of ancestries and backgrounds, yeah. Ah, art's still coming in. Feel that. So lots of rules in this one. Siege weapons. A fireball might be effective. I love this nebula stuff, but I'm a big space fan. I'm actually a really big space fan. Oh, a little bit of Art Deco style for some of this. Crew stats. Okay. The crew stat is equal to the total number of people in the crew, not counting PCs. It's function much like HP. That makes sense. So as you lose people, you lose crew. All right. Morale. Basically, you need them to do shit for you. When they hit half hit points, you roll a morale. You try to keep them together and still working. That's really bad on small crews. Crew recovery. When the ship stops in a safe port, injured crew members recover over the span of 2d6 days or 1 period of downtime. Okay. Giving those downtime actions. I like that. Crew actions. Commanding the crew. Crew attacks. During a boarding action, your crew... This is something I'm going to definitely call out later. During a boarding action, your crew has attacks the rival crew once, dealing its damage as injuries. And a 100 member gains a second attack at 300. Okay, so you're actually adding some extra attacks to the game. Surprised you're doing extra attacks and not just extra damage dice. To keep it down to the 1 attack rule. Commanding the crew. Injuries. Ram. Deal siege injuries, okay. If a regular attack hits the crew as a whole, the injury is 1 crew member for every full multiple of hit point stat that the attack does. Okay. There's a lot in here, man. This is a big book. Crew advancement. Oh, you get crew experience. All right, I like this. New characters come for the crew. This is genius. So anytime you're playing a game, this is why I made the Breachers Guild, and you're playing for the Breachers Guild in mind. I feel like you have to have, in a game where death is a little more frequent than you're going to have in 5e or games like that, and especially what I learned from Blades in the Dark is you want a spot where new characters come from, and it's not a question. That doesn't mean you have to come from there. It's just the most likely way to do it. I think that's a really smart thing to add in. I see you also have some crew improvements by level. So as a level, they get different things, which is pretty dope. And then specialists in there, which are people who are good at things, surgeon, engineer, you know, chef, carpenter, bosun, so on and so forth. Pretty cool. Give you some bonuses. Again, obviously there'll be a sheet to track that later. Reputations. Oh, okay. Artillerist, whether it's a barrage of ballista or bolts from rapid salvos of caustic globules, the assault of skilled artillerist is devastating. Fire in the hole. So these are reputations. This is like what you're known for. Nice. If you're marauders, I like this. This is a very different way to do a rep. Do you get to pick this? Is this random? Huh. Where's this at? Does it say something about rep? Oh yeah, right here. First reputation. Dope. Just so I have a marker for myself later. Nova Raiders, Swashbucklers. I like that. That's really cool. Like you're known for something. That's something in naval games I always thought was cool when this ship is known for X. That's really cool. Did you, I learned recently behind the scenes, and I think I sent this to, it might have been Serving Hands, but the Black Pearl and how it became the Black Pearl, the stuff that they cut from the Disney film, and it was for it, but they just cut it, made it such a way better fucking story. Crew events, running crew events at port, stowaways. Okay, yeah, I just did that on one of my games. D100, very cool. Your ships. I'm gonna do this so the whole page fits, so I can just flip through it a little quicker. It might have been me. I didn't make it. It was somebody else's podcast that was on. It was really cool. Size, required crew, max crew. So this is like the breakdown for the ship. Speed and speed stat, maneuver stat, like we said before. Attack, okay, haul, siege damage, damage ships, repair, morale, and hit points. The best reviewed element by my home group? Of course it is. Yep, you got it. Yeah, that's all part of what I was talking about, Nick. Yeah. Jack Sparrow refused to run slaves to the British Empire, but the whole bit of backlore makes that movie much better, right? And then the ship was burnt to the ground, and Davy Jones talked to him to get it back, and the reason it's called the Black Pearl is because it's burnt. Awesome. Really cool little piece of lore if you didn't know about it. So size, provisions, ratings, required crew slots. Do you find when you're running this that your group gets overwhelmed? I find with like HQs and things like that in the games I run, people get overwhelmed and aren't tracking this stuff. You know what I mean? It's a very metal backstory, agreed. Deck space. Because keeping people wanting to track this stuff is hard. My last ETHAUNTIA show, not the new one, they had an HQ that was an outpost, and people kept forgetting to upgrade it or do anything to it. Because the options just became overwhelming. And I, as the GM, I refuse to track, and this is really more and more that I've streamed. I'm not tracking your fucking money. I'm not going to track your fucking cargo. And I'm sure as shit not going to track your fucking upgrades. Like, it's your character. Like, I want you to do that stuff. Provisions, activities. Sometimes you need to describe what people are doing. You're not a fair test. Yeah, that makes sense. Makes sense. I don't know if this went out to other people, if you've gotten any feedback yet. Arcane Jet. I love that you made the different styles of maneuvering, like your power. Really cool. And you did activities for each one. Oh, that's fucking dope. That's smart. Are these, oh, I did have a question. I was looking at these earlier. Are these going to get inked in darker so they're easier to see or be in a separate piece? Because I love these sketches, but they're really hard to see at this scale and at that line weight being that off gray. Are these going to be all in a separate PDF for people? Just so when I do my recording piece, I can kind of talk about that, because I love these little pieces, but like, dude, I got to zoom so close to see this, and then it gets pixelated. Like this here gets really pixely. You know what I mean? But I like them. That's why I'm asking. They're black inks. Yeah, I don't know, man. They're really good. I like them. I'll be adding the self-defined scans. Were these hand-drawn? I may take them into something like Clip Studio or Illustrator or something that can do a vector line trace, so you can blow them up without losing any resolution. Obviously, I don't know what the resolution is for these photos. I'm speaking in a general state, but I love the little sketches. I love the sketches. I want to be able to access them on a bigger scale for my stuff. Super fun though. It's got a yacht vibe to it. Battleship, yeah, nice. I like the random cabin decks. I think this is really smart too. I remember when Star Wars was doing that stuff. Chain stars, the most expensive form of transport. This requires finding several small stars of equal size and dislodging them from their position in a filament. What the fuck? This is dope and dangerous. How do you make it stop? Yeah, you could double them up. There's a lot. I honestly would put them through a vectorization. That's personally what I would do. Or at a certain stretch goal, say you're going to get them. Get them vectorized and inked. I would definitely do that. 100%. Go find yourself, in the words of Chasing Amy, find yourself a tracer. I love these. Dude, this ship is fucking great, man. Chain Star shipboard activities. Cool. Star Chariot. Nice. Crystal Sails. Catching Aether. Nice. Oh, I know. I'm well aware. I've been an artist since I was in first grade. I think you could do it in Illustrator and click vectorization or pay an artist, and I bet you they can vectorize all your art in 2 days. Like, make that part of your Kickstarter. That's what I'm saying. If it hits a certain stretch goal, vectorize all the art, because they deserve it. Crystal Sailboat. Boat in a bottle. Genius. Super fun. Empty deck, till, galley, cargo. Okay, cool. Bigger version of it. Nice. Super fun. Love the multiple decks. Yeah, I get you. I'm just talking out loud, man. Divine Towers. Woo! Divine answers to arcane jets. These chained together towers are powered by the faith of their crew. Fuck yes, man. That's some style. I love that. I really like that. Coming up with new... what an amazing spaceship to deal with. Such a spelljammery station. It's a space station on steroids. Really cool. Roaming Temple. Fucking dope. Looks like a beholder. I know it's not, but you got yourself a beholder here. Very cool. Incantations. Okay. Row of pirates line the deck, chanting in unison, focus on the race towards the prey. Awesome. Viking fucking hell ships. So cool. Like this, I can't even see this. This, hold on here. Can I find saw a drawing point. Where was it? Can't even see this one. Cargo skiff. Tower of the ocular tower, the tower of eyes, the seeing stars. That's what I would name one of those tower ones like that. Absolutely, man. Cool. Whoo, it's expensive. Better be rich, boys and girls. Curious to see how you handle your currency. Necro furnace, awesome. I didn't mean to, wanted to highlight it. Trailing a twisting black miasma from a sculpted bone exterior, the Necro Furnace cuts through the aether. Really cool. I love this ship. This is one of the first things I saw. Very awesome. Necro Furnace Corvette. Galleon. Oil Slick Heart. This better be like a demon or something. Pipework runs through the vessel, saying aether-rich oils pumping along the hull, circulating back through the integrated heart. I'm going to use a heart of a demon. Oil Slick Kraken Heart. Yeah, there we go. Kraken, however you say it. Dope. Very cool. Ah, this is dope. This has got that Blades in the Dark feel. Barnacle powered trade galleon. Does it look like a crab? Is this a crab? Steam engines. We know what these are. We've seen these. Little ferry boat. Acquiring a ship. Here we go. The ship is mostly propulsion. Change the ship to use a new propulsion system is the same cost as building a new ship and selling the old one. Prior owners, stolen salvage. Salvage, if the players start out planet side somewhere, they might find a crashed ship. Ancient ships. Theft. Just riding along, buying a new one. Okay. Custom ships and cost. Woo. This is expensive. Are some standard ships included in the book, but you are encouraged to design your own, whether by modifying an existing ship or map, creating a fully custom design. Layout, ship can have any layout, regardless of aerodynamics. Yeah, because fucking Aether, who gives a shit? Space, baby. The only thing that's hard is getting off the ground. Jet engine, cost, stats, gotcha. Times size, this is your breakdown for building one. Do you have a sample of building one in here somewhere? Let me see here. I'm assuming you do. I would want a sample page for how to build, personally. Like, hey, here's how you build a ship. Maybe there is one. I'm just not there yet. Because this is a brand new idea. It's not quite like building a character because there's a lot more math involved in here. But if I wanted to do change stars, provision rating, 1 times size, wisdom, maneuver, sloop, I mean, you have to be loaded. Yeah, I would look at doing a 1 page. I really would. Just to give people like, yo, follow along. Here's how you do it. Because then you can also sell how easy it is to make a ship with a 1 sheet. Deck upgrades, cargo hold, barracks, carrier, nice. I would also, you can't add the prices because it's a multiplier. I'm assuming all this was in that table before. Let me go back up. Yeah, up here. Gotcha. So these are just the descriptions. I mean, this is a designer argument on if you do or don't. There's no right or wrong, but adding the prices into those things next to them somewhere or underneath the headers, the multiplier. Some people love that, some don't. I kind of do because I don't want to flip back and forth on the pages. If you want to get real spicy, you can do a hover over for your PDFs. I've thought about doing that for some stuff lately, having hover overs. Where if I'm hovering over it, it'll tell you the price. Like, oh, bladed RAM, I hover over it, it tells you what it is. References that page, basically. Does it pop out of that page or that chart? That's just way end game. Not required. Dig this. Ammunition, tracking, ammunition costs for firing multiple siege weapons in a single attack. 1 cargo of ammunition is sufficient for 4 ship attacks. So, okay. A single round of ammunition or a hurler, 4 gear slots, spears for ballista, 1 gear slot each. Okay. Arcane ampule, distilled arcane, fire from a bottle brace, range of far, D12 engine, ballista bolt. Okay. Far, D4 engine. Yeah, Nick, it's just a design element that I've been like, what do I want to do? Caustic globule. So these are all the different things. All right, I'm going to scroll through some of these. Lightning in a bottle, that's cool. Blowing thunderstorm trapped in a massive glass ampule. When cracked, it leaps to the first target in that direction. This is a great item. Super fun. Cool art. I think I saw color art of this for something that you had earlier. Rare upgrades. No limits in the ways ships can improve. Rares, Aether Jets, Arcane Feeder Furnace. This is nice. All extra stuff. Mythic Rudder. Witch Knot Chain. I like this. Web-like structure woven from mithril chains manages to inherit a chaos of a tri-star system, yanking a 3rd star to a single ship. Dope. Like, that is really cool. This is the Aether. You got a lot of good flavor to the setting. I will say that this book is a lot, though. 300 something pages. But most of it seems like it's optioned so far out of the 300 pages. I like this. Here we go. I'm assuming there's art that's going to go here at some point. Crew action and ship movement happen. For your Kickstarter, this is just me, but you may want to put art boxes if there is art that are going to go on these pages or tables that are going to go on these pages. You might want to add those just so when people are looking through them, they know that there's art coming for those. You know what I'm saying? I would add some like markers and then you just hot swap them later. I like them in my layouts anyway. That's just me. Ship movement happened last. Regular actions, crew actions, speed checks, maneuver checks. Okay. I like the order of operations. You got your naval movement and how it's going to work. A ship at 0 hull can still move, but it fails any speed or maneuver checks. All right. Failure to maneuver, pursue, shipboard actions, siege, sieging, always important. Oh, sorry, I meant to highlight that to look at it later. Come on, what are you being a pain? There you go. Make sure I have it on. All right. I'm highlighting this so that when I go through it again, I have more things. Ramming. I'm assuming again, art. There was some stuff in here that I definitely wanted to look at. Mass attack. Okay, so attacking into mass combat. So you are doing a combination of 1v1 and mass. I would have to see this in play. I hope you have someone record samples of ship to ship. This is what I would do for the Kickstarter. This is me. I would have a recording for really quick 5-minute to 10-minute long videos that have, and I'm saying this because Shadowdark is a very clean and simple system that people have adopted as like their home system, and you're trying to convince them to pick up something that's not complex, but it's a template to go over top of the game they already play. I would have a sample of a ship build, a sample of 1v1 ship combat, and a sample of mass combat and how it would look and how to run it. If you know a really good GM that's running it, or if you're a really good GM, I don't know you to say if you are or are not, I would record some little pieces of how that works. Or if you're not comfortable with recording video is what I recommend. I would write out some quick versions with charts and maps on how to do it, because the first thing people think when they get a ship-based game is, how the fuck does a ship-based combat work? And while I can sit and read this whole thing, that's not something as a person purchasing Kickstarter is going to do. I think your initial purchasers are going to be people like, oh yeah, I want a ship-based combat. But your setting is really solid and the concepts are really solid. But this part and building it, like so much of this is options. I would want to know how that's going to work as someone purchasing the game. That's just advice from me to you as a buyer. If you can, and again, you're going live on 22nd, so maybe it's an update, maybe week 1 or something like that. Be like, I'm going to be putting out these 3 things over the course of that, buying you that 30-day cycle that people could be looking into it. Leviathans, that's awesome. Yeah, but it also has to be conveyed to the GM, because the GM needs to know how to fucking run it. And you may think that that is obvious, but I will tell you, ship combat is one of the more either really complex or really too simple pieces that need to make sense on how to use it and build it into your stories. I would definitely, because you got a lot of really good tables later in here that I was reading that I think are awesome. And you talk about, you know, like planet side flying, what's going on, naval combat, if you're doing that, but I would definitely get some stuff for those. Cool that you got these. I love that you have this. This is a question that is going to come up at tables. Water landing, ground landing, safe spots. These would be really good just if maybe it's already in the cheat sheet, but really cool. Like this right here. A cheat sheet. And I know you gave me a cheat sheet. I just don't have it loaded up for the game or for the show today. Visibility in the Aether, dealing with it. Piratical injuries. Even if you're pirate, if you have both eyes and all your limbs, optional rules. Severe injuries. Okay, love this. This is a great upgrade. Super fun. Is there anything that it does? When a player character would be reduced to 0 hit points, they can instead choose to suffer a permanent injury and remain standing. This is great, man. I would adopt this to almost every fucking game. Huh. This is cool. This is a really good one for the sci-fi games too, because you can get them replaced and stuff like that later on if you got the money. This is very smart. Good game design. Like, I'm clipping this for sure. Hold on. I'm gonna record a little piece for this. I want different music though. What's this? Here we go. So looking through Aetherdark, and one of the coolest things I've seen going through this, besides the ship combat, everything's in it, is this new piratical injuries, aka severe injuries, is an optional rule. Choosing injuries, instead of going to 0 hit points and just start making death saves, you can instead choose to take a severe injury. Super fun concept. You roll on this table and you lose part of yourself, but you get to continue fighting. Such a great concept. If you are a Shadowdark player, maybe adopt this to everything that you're doing. Kickstarter is coming on April 22nd for Aetherdark. If you want to check out this 308 page book. Just recording a quick piece for that since it was in my head. Get it out. That's why I do these Wednesday shows. I just record stuff. This is kind of like my work day. Yeah, you could add stuff to it. I don't know. That's up to you. I've seen it done both ways. Maybe add a second table, or let me just go back up. This table is so fucking wide, right? If you could bump this up, add a second piece here, and then add an effect here. Optional effect. You know what I'm saying? Look right here. Add an optional effect table here. That'd be kind of cool. D20 injury, like roll injury, and then what it does is next to it, and those are optional. Fucking cool though. Travel, how travel events work, combining events. So what I want to show off here before I close out, because I got to prep for our game tonight, because this is a big ass fucking book. I love that you did hex-based space travel. You gave people a way to do hex-based stuff. And if we get to, there's a specific piece. Oh, that's the Dark Heart engine. Dope. This guy, I don't want to stand here. The depths, Aether is strange and dangerous. Is not as deep as the ocean is with a simple up and down, but rather its ability to always drift further from reality, which I loved this explanation for what the depths are. Provisions. Port activities. Again, I'm assuming a table is going to go down here. That's my guess. I love that you did port activities, though. Very important. Install upgrades. It's kind of like your... Oh, port activity is almost like a downtime activity. Personally, that's how I've been treating it for ETHAUNTIA, for my home setting. Trading cargo. Ooh, okay. I like this. Downtime trade. Very cool. So where's this at? There's so much in here, man. I can tell you've been doing this for a while. GMing with the crew. Important. But there's one that I am looking. We're fast forwarding here, everybody. You have bounty hunting in yours. That's the other thing I wanted to point out. I remember seeing that. Here's one of the things I was looking for. Drifting ships, adrift, treasure, propulsion, and then what happens. Great tables. That's like something I'd find in one of the adventures. It's coolest in the core book. XP examples for adventuring and for bounty hunting. I think that's what this was, right? Yep. Awesome. Random bounties. I want to get to the... Yeah, here we go. I'm assuming destination worlds are infinite. This is something that's going to get fleshed out. Right? That's my guess. This is like tables that need to be filled. Drawing the map. Here it is. This is what I was looking for. I love that you're teaching people how to draw a map for your set piece. I think it's very important when you're mapping Hexbase to teach them how it works for your game. Super fun for like drawing stars, drawing... Oh, no, they fill this out. Oh, so you're making... I see. You're having them fill it out. Gotcha. I wouldn't write in my book. I would put these in the back of the book, but I get what you're saying. You're teaching them. Map scale. This is a very bold use of 2 pages. You know what I'm saying? Right? Bold version. I would give a sample. Personally. Say sample version, blank one in the back for you to use or something. Or downloadable at this website, giving a call to action to come back to your site to download things or follow your newsletter or your blog post or wherever you're going to keep updating for this. If you are. If this is a standalone, then ignore me. Well, this is where you find that out. People are going to ask questions. But the fact that you have a hex base and you're teaching people how to write it, each hex 336 miles, that kind of stuff, 1 chip per week at regular speeds, really fun way to teach people how to draw this out. I love this. I love that you have the world space mapping as well. And this is super fun, man. I really enjoy that you're basically peeling it and saying, hey, here's the system, here's the continents of that, and then here's the most important area. Really smart kind of way to map this out for 1 page. As a cartographer, I really enjoy that a lot. I remember the ethereal mechanics. There was another really good thing that I wanted to talk about. Dope art. Strange travelers. Now, where's it at? There was one more thing. Wasn't the train. Here. I love these tables. These are the things that Shadowdark people love. The fact that you gave them D100 tables is super fun. A lot of them were really good. I thought that was a really nice ad. And then there's one other one towards the back. Because these are like nebula civilizations, wild nebula, like this. You've given a lot for GMs to build on. This is a great toolbox for Spelljammer-esque style play in your setting. You have your worlds. Nope, this isn't it. Here we go. Your system generating. Awesome to see this. Every game that's in space needs to have their version of the system generator. I think it's important to have that. I'm glad you put this in here as a GM, with different things, different things that can be rolled and what they do in their effects. And then, yeah, yep, very smart. Going planet side, is something else going here? Or is this out of space? I don't know, it just seemed like a weird header bar. Inhabited planets, very nice. Oh yeah, here we go. This is the other thing I was talking about. Inhabited planets. The fact I can go to an inhabited planet table and go D4 climate. Oh, it's typical with all comic bands. And I roll a 7. It's stone, wood-based weapons, only basic. And then you're like, what's the dominant political structure? I roll an 18. A world at war, each fortress rating as it pleases. And then you can go through the dominant terrain and write all this stuff out. This is a great piece to add. I love the weighted tables. I'm a big fan of weighted tables for sections to make sure that what you want to have happen happens more often. Okay. Yeah, it just seemed really, I thought all the other ones were centered. That was just me asking more of that. You even got some sci-fi stuff in here. You kept like your vampires and shit. And then where else was it? Local customs, super cool. Resources. So this is the area where I was going to ask, like, how are you going to get the money to fucking do this shit? Well, some of those ships are expensive as fuck. Like, do you start with one? Should you be starting with one since this is a space campaign? Are you leaving that to the GM to decide? Does your first adventure get them a ship? As if so, I would put a callback in here in the GM section. And maybe even in the front, like, you should start with a ship. Our first adventure has that. And it may be in here. Granted, I haven't read all 300-something pages yet. But I would want that as a GM to, like, how do I set my players up? Because the new Fantasy Flight game, Star Wars, tells you start with, depending on which one you're playing, a ship, an HQ, and so on. But stuff's expensive, man. It's a lot of money to build a ship. You can't carry it all, so you got to have somewhere to store it. So, like, if every 100 is a gear slot, they have to come up with a way to have them. Crews and crewmen. Yeah. I would maybe call it out. Honestly, look, this is just me. A GM in Shadowdark, part of your job to me, and I'm sure I fucked this up too when I made Breachers somewhere, right? You just learn from other people seeing your stuff. But I feel like there always has to be when you start with X, right? Do X, give them X, so that the GM has a grounded idea of how to start, and then they can modify it however they want after that. Like right here in the ship section or in the GM section for starting a game, maybe I would add that. I just think it's important. I mean, I would almost even bold that shit. Like, I feel like the GM needs to know how to start an Aetherdark game. I do love all these. Are you repeating the art? Oh, you're just giving them the... I see, civilian ships. Gotcha. Cool. Very cool. But yeah, our job as designers, I think, to give GMs tools. If anything from Sly Flourish that I agree with more than anything he's said in the last couple of years is when you are selling a product, you are making an item that really, out of that group of, say, 6 at a table, 5 players, 1 GM, or 4 in 1, however your divide is. You're making something that really the GM's going to be buying. The players may buy some splat books for the class they want to play, but from my years running not just home games, but being a paid GM, and then also running at conventions. Back in the day, I was doing like 20 conventions a year, running numerous games. I learned that the GM is usually the person buying. usually. And because of that, they're the one trying to convince their players to play the game that they want to fucking play. This is a common argument amongst everything. My players won't play anything else. My answer always is, tabletop RPGs, you don't have to be fucking monogamous. Just get another group and play the game you want to play with that fucking group. Online has made this a lot easier than back in the days of cork boards, right? But I think that having something like that is useful for the GM. And I think that everyone who's making a custom setting or book, if they're teaching them something new, and this is a big book teaching them new, should be really cool. You could use the reused art, but I would change it up and mark it and make it for that adventure. I can see you're kind of doing that here. Echoes, I love this. Ghost Ships, great name, love it, fantastic. Making an echo, how to make it. Deadly Echoes, super cool. Very, very fun piece here. And then let's get through here. Monsters. I love that you put some monsters as Leviathans, Astro Krakens. No. Super fun. Kraken events. Young to severed tentacles, attached tentacles, pretty cool. Congealed Nebula, I love this art, by the way. This is the one I used for the, I don't know if I can do it here. Doesn't do it here. For this one, I used it in here because I thought it was such a fun piece to see the ship fly in. Right? Super fun. I did that because I love that piece. I think it's a very evocative and fun piece, in the words of Nick. Evocative. Neon Enigmas. No, dead ship. And then I want to get to the back of this. I did love this, by the way. I loved the size comparison that you gave your audience to look at these things. I think that was really smart. It's just a nice piece. I think that's smart for the Astro Piece stuff. That's really cool. Great that you have some monster art in here, by the way. Congrats. Something that gets skipped a lot. Big fan of the stone clawed creatures. These are awesome. And then you have, this is the cruise ship with tracking everything. Thank you for making this. Oh, these are for the different ships? Oh yeah, sloop. Oh yeah, good on you. Good on you for doing this, man. Galleon, I love that. Crew name, what they are. And these are the important ones, I'm assuming, and people were injured too. Bulk cargo. Be cool to see that made into like a little little brochure pamphlet, like foldable book piece. Really cool, like multiple bulk cargo pages that are, if you could make a printable booklet, you ever seen the ones that you make that are printable and cut and they fold into a booklet? That would be dope if you could find a way to make that into a booklet people could print at home and fold. That would be really awesome. Maybe it's like a downloadable piece and then design for Shadowdark. Look, dude, there's a lot in here, man. You made a lot of shit for this book. I'm gonna read over it some more. I'm gonna shoot a more concise video. I'll probably use the quick start rules to showcase it and really break down what's in it. My main things that I would say as a takeaway from this, since I have you in the audience, I would say, first and foremost, tell them about the ship and how to start. Give them something with that, or talk about the Zero adventure. The adventure, I love that first layout. I'm really interested to read through that. I have not yet. I love that you have everything in here. I would think about making ancestries and classes a stretch goal. Ancestries and classes invite, give GMs tools to make players want to play the game they want to run. Now, I believe that players should be wanting to play in anything that the GM wants to run because the GM is putting the work in. I'm a GM biased. I am 99.99% GM. I think if I want to run a game, you can opt in and out as a player. You know what I'm saying? Especially in a world where it's easy to get in. But I think having some tools to invite the players in and have that class and maybe new background, stuff like that. I know you have them. I would really think about adding them as maybe a PDF stretch goal, or having that added to the Kickstarter. Maybe you already do. If you don't want to say it here, you don't have to. Totally fine. you have some really good stuff in here, but I want to see how building ship works, 101 combat with a ship works, and mass combat works. Have it be an explanation guide or a video. I think those key things to help sell it, because you can't sell 308 pages without a little bit of a guideline of how the shit's gonna work. They're in baseline, not in stretch goals. It's not in that book. The PDFs in all reward tiers have the ancestors, but overall the setting book for the ring is separate. Okay, so the ring is going to have it. This is just the ship book. I see. Good for me to know as I'm doing the filming stuff for it. So I will definitely remind people, do you know when you're doing the ring book? Is that going to be part of that Kickstarter? Or is that going to be something separate? Again, if you don't want to say it here, welcome just to send me a message. What you have here is awesome. It's 300 pages of just insane. If you're printing this, my guy, good luck. I don't know where the fuck you're doing that right now, how you're going to print it, or if it's just going to be PDFs. I didn't check through all your hyperlinks if you've hyperlinked some of the stuff in here, but I would really look at hyperlinking other things besides the table of contents in a 300-something page book. But dude, you got a big piece here. That's in the Kickstarter. Awesome. I didn't see it on the one page, but I'm excited to see more. If you want to invite me to look at the Kickstarter page, I'd be happy to take a look over it. I really am wanting to see what this has done. And I'm gonna record this section, and I'm gonna say something. It just as a short. We were failed by Spelljammer when it came out, and it is a beloved system for me. I grew up on it, and I feel like Wizards of the Coast dropped the fucking ball. And seeing you pick up the mantle and make Aetherdark, while I'm not saying that it is Spelljammer, you're at least giving us the vibes that weren't there. I'm excited to see kind of how it works, how it runs, and what's going on. Always willing to support someone put this much work into what they're doing. It's quality, it's written well, there's some great ideas in it. I think your goal here is just to teach your audience why they should purchase it. So Aetherdark, check it out. I mean, the Kickstarter starts on April 22nd, everybody. There'll be links down in the live show comment here. I'll be recording something off air this coming week to put out for the Kickstarter starting on Tuesday, the 22nd, if memory serves, of April. So that's it for us today. We went long today. I went long because I knew I wanted to do both of these and at least get a look through on this, and then a full recorded review for Aetherdark. I'm going to go over these 300 pages over the next couple days and get something recorded. For everybody else, if you have not subscribed yet, subscribe. There's links everywhere around here, but most importantly, either my Patreon if you want to stay up to date on what's going on, or the Courier. Make sure you're signed up, Corpse Courier. It's my monthly newsletter. There's all the things that I've reviewed on the show, links to things that I'm enjoying, stuff that you don't get here, but you may get in the Patreon as well. And then hopefully my recipe comes out tonight for another one for Breachers Volume 1. Thanks to Micah being in chat here as we look through Aetherdark. And I will be back tomorrow. We are going to be doing, I believe tomorrow is going to be some more Solo Dark. So stick around for that. I got to go get ready for my game tonight in an hour and a half. Have a great day, everybody. And of course, stay fucking rotten.